Chapter 1060. Demon Sect. Sect Master, your injuries are very severe. You cannot continue like this. The demon sect's disciples worriedly looked at Sikong Feng. Proceed according to plan. The frailty on Sikong Feng's face faded, leaving behind only a gloomy chill. The demon sect's disciples looked at each other. Fearing Sikong Feng's tyrannical might, none of them dared to speak. When night fell, the demon sect's disciples prepared to set out. Ignoring the dissuasion of others, Sikong Feng followed them. The demon sect and martial union were not too far apart. The demon sect's members reached the top of martial union's group. From above, they could see the bonfire below, as well as some of the night guards. Sect Master, the wind isn't strong enough. We have to wait a little longer. Sikong Feng looked down before retracting his gaze. The person who spoke waved his hand, indicating for the others to make their preparations. After waiting for a while, the wind finally picked up, causing everyone's clothes to flutter. Sikong Feng raised his hand. Begin. By the time the members of martial union discovered that something was amiss, it was already too late. The demon sect's members had surrounded them. Meanwhile, they had all been poisoned, and their bodies were powerless. They could only allow the demon sect's members to tie them up. Sect Master, we did not discover Lu Yu and Qi, and Sikong Feng narrowed his eyes. Kill them. Yes. Despicable. Demon, what kind of ability is this? Your demon sect is just so despicable. Even if you kill us, do you think you can unify the martial world? Although the members of martial union could not move, they could still speak. However, aside from cursing, they could not do anything else. You're about to die, yet you're still so stubborn. You might as well say your last words. The demon sect's disciples walked over with swords in hand. The members of martial union had ugly expressions on their faces. Today, they had been ambushed because of their carelessness. However, even if they died, there would still be tens of thousands of people in the martial world who would stand up against the demon sect. Wait a moment. I know where Lu Yu is. Don't kill me. A young man shouted, his voice filled with extreme fear. Sikong Feng looked towards the man. Where is she? I'll only tell you. Come closer, the man stuttered. Sikong Feng frowned and took a few steps towards that person. Speak. That person's gaze circled the ground, and he stretched out his hand with difficulty, pointing at Sikong Feng. You, behind you. Sikong Feng's heart skipped a beat. He turned around abruptly. Shi Shang was standing a few meters away. Her face was hidden in the darkness. He could only see the yellow talisman in her hand. Just as he turned around, the talisman spontaneously combusted. With him as the center, a strong light suddenly emitted within half a meter. Sikong Feng felt a sense of danger and instinctively jumped away. But light speed was faster than him, and he directly crashed into the light wall. A sizzling sound rang in his ears, and a burnt smell floated up to his nose. Sikong Feng was trapped in that 1-meter-wide circle of light, and the talisman paper under his feet gradually appeared. Almost all of the demonic sect disciples were surrounded by these halos. Those who were not were quickly knocked unconscious by a sword. Shi Shang slowly walked out of the darkness, and his face gradually became clearer. The woman had a smile on her face. It was a very faint smile. The light flashed on and off against her face. For some reason, it made people's scalp tingle, as if they were being stared at by a monster. Sikong Feng. Shi Shang stood in front of Sikong Feng. I don't believe that you can run away this time. Sikong Feng had already given up when he realized that he couldn't break out of the circle of light that trapped him. At this moment, he maintained his male lead image. Sikong Feng's face was full of calmness. If I can escape from you once, I can do it again. Is that so? Then let's see if Plot Kuan or I is more powerful. Shi Shang took out a talisman paper and stuck it on the circle of light. After circling it once, she stood back in place and quickly formed a seal with her fingers. Suddenly, a strong wind blew around them, and a very strange force swept towards them. That force quickly merged with the circle of light. The talisman paper floated up from the circle of light, and it spun around the circle of light. Bright yellow characters came out of the talisman paper and tightly wrapped around the circle of light. Sikong Feng had never seen such a scene before. His heart started to beat uncertainly, and his mind kept flashing with thoughts of how to save himself. Rumble. Thunderclouds gathered in the sky at some point, and the sound of thunder suddenly resounded through heaven and earth. Shi Shang glanced up from the corner of her eyes, and the corners of her mouth curved up slightly. What a pity, she's already done. In the end, Shi Shang took out a blank talisman paper and quickly drew a string of characters on it. She stuck it on the circle of light, took out the iron sword, and fled into the distance. Rumble. A bolt of lightning as thick as an arm struck down from the sky, landing right where Shi Shang was just standing. Shi Shang sat on the iron sword and patted her chest. She almost scared me to death. Mu Bai sat on the cliff, looking at the flashing lightning and the flickering circle of light in the distance. After a long while, Mu Bai gritted his teeth and muttered, "So, this is an unsolvable problem. Why did I have to suffer like this?" The male lead had the protagonist's halo, and even with his help, he still couldn't beat her. So angry. Mu Bai's chest rose and fell rapidly. He brainwashed himself in his heart. He was a gentleman, so he couldn't get angry. He had to maintain his gentlemanly demeanor and calm down. Calm down. He couldn't calm down at all. When he thought about how his goal of killing Shi Shang was still far away, Mu Bai suddenly wanted to commit suicide to calm down. Mu Bai. Why did he have such a terrible idea? This gentleman wouldn't die. He would definitely live. Live until the end. Kill Shi Shang. Shi Shang didn't dodge the lightning and was struck a bit awkwardly. Perhaps because she had been struck too many times, she was now more resistant to being struck. After being struck, other than feeling that her body wasn't her own, her consciousness was still very clear. Shi Shang fed herself some pills and adjusted her breathing before returning to the nearby town on her sword. She climbed through the window and fell into an embrace as soon as she entered. Where did you go? Shi Shang. Why did he wake up? Damn, the medicine must have expired. Next time, I'll change it. Shi Shang laughed dryly. Went out to get some fresh air. Qian pinched Shi Shang's chin and made her look at him. Xiao Yu, you're lying. If you know I's lying, then why the hell did you ask? Okay, I'll go and cripple Sikong Feng. Qian was silent for a moment, then suddenly began to take off her clothes. What are you doing? Hey, don't pull. It's not that easy to take off. Damn, I just bought it. Don't tear it. No, it's not good for us to be by the window, right? Why aren't you talking? Qian took off her clothes, lit the lamp, and carefully examined her. His brows were tightly knitted, as if there was something he couldn't figure out. His fingers slid across Shi Shang's back. Shi Shang was a bit impatient. Have you touched enough? Qian glanced at her and carried her to the bed. That night, Shi Shang knew that there was no crazier, only crazier. Pull the lamp to sweep away pornography #today. I'm looking for a ticket for the taste of platycodon flowers #, looking for monthly votes #. Chapter 1061. Sikong Feng's cultivation was crippled and he was captured by the people of Martial Union. Without Sikong Feng's leadership, the demon sect was quickly defeated by Martial Union and withdrew from the Central Plains. Shi Shang, the hero, had not shown his face since that night. Everyone had a tacit understanding not to mention him. Shi Shang naturally did not care. What she was worried about was Qian. Since that night, Qian rarely spoke. Even if Shi Shang asked him, he would only nod or shake his head. Sometimes, he would not speak at all. Shi Shang looked at Qian, who was sitting in the corner. She touched her chin and moved her butt over. She asked straightforwardly, "Did you see something that day?" And Qian lowered his head. His voice was a bit muffled. "Are you afraid?" Qian suddenly raised his head and anxiously denied. No. He was not afraid. He turned around and faced Shi Shang. He pursed his lips several times. I don't know what to say. Shi Shang tilted his head and did not answer. Qian leaned over and kissed her face. Then, he pulled her into his arms. I saw those lightning strikes and landed on your body. He wanted to go over, but he could not. He could not even take a step forward. Those lightning strikes seemed to have struck him at the same time. He could not move at all. He had to desperately hold back his voice so that she would not notice. Every time he thought of the scene at that time, he felt so much heartache that he could not breathe. Shi Shang wanted to slap herself. How could she forget that he had a contract with her? He would also feel the pain on her body. It hurts, right? It doesn't hurt. Qian shook his head. With her by his side, he could endure any pain. There won't be a next time. This kind of thing would never happen a second time. Shi Shang asked again, don't you have anything you want to ask? Why was she struck by lightning? Why was she fine so quickly? Qian lowered his eyes. Is it important? Shi Shang was stunned. He slowly said, it's not important. Qian's body began to deteriorate. Shi Shang could feel the fine and dense pain, like countless needles piercing his bones. Every time, Qian didn't say anything and acted normal. Shi Shang also accompanied him in pretending. Later, maybe he remembered the previous incident and stopped pretending. Xiao Yu, does it hurt? Qian grabbed Shi Shang's hand, his eyes full of heartache. He regretted it. He shouldn't have let her suffer the same pain as him. It doesn't hurt. Shi Shang pressed him back. We're almost there. You'll get better soon. Little Yu, it's useless. Qian shook his head. The whereabouts of the red coral are unknown. My body can't recover. Qian regretted being impulsive back then. He wanted to cut off her thoughts, but he didn't expect that in the end, he would cut off his own path of retreat. I got it. Shi Shang took out the jade coral from his space. It was as red as blood. Look. Qian was stunned for a while before he took it. You. When did you get it? Do you want to praise me? Shi Shang took back the jade coral. I also know that I'm very powerful. When you're better, just sleep with me a few more times. Qian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why would she tell you? There are many ways to know what I want to know. Qian laughed silently. That's true. She had never asked him what was going on with his body, but she obviously knew it like the back of her hand. Qian leaned his head towards Shi Shang. Xiao Yu, I'm sleepy. Sleep if you're sleepy. But I don't want to sleep. Qian rubbed against Shi Shang, his face slightly red. Xiao Yu, I want. What do you want? Sleep. Don't you want to die? Shi Shang slapped him and stuffed him under the quilt. Qian was a little wronged. But I'm in pain. I don't hurt. Qian teased Shi Shang all the way, looking like he wouldn't stop until he got her into bed, but Shi Shang didn't budge. When they arrived at the Holy Water Palace, Qian didn't succeed. He was in good spirits and got off the carriage. When he looked up, he saw a row of beauties. He gathered his cloak, but it wasn't as beautiful as his Xiao Yu. Shi Shang sent the coachman away and walked to Qian's side. One of the beauties stood up and bowed. Her voice was sweet. Miss Lu, Pavilion Master Qi, the young master has been waiting for a long time. Please. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. She wanted to hit him. Mu Bai was actually so self-aware. She didn't believe that Mu Bai was afraid of her. There was definitely something wrong. Shi Shang arrogantly ordered the beauties, let him come down. The beauties weren't angry. Miss Lu, the young master said that if you're worried about a trap, then please go back. Shi Shang thought for a moment and still didn't go up. If Mu Bai didn't come down, she began to destroy the buildings outside the Holy Water Palace. The entire Holy Water Palace was very quiet. Other than the beauties standing outside, there was no one inside. Mu Bai was finally forced out. He quickly glanced at Qian and then turned his gaze to Shi Shang. You're so violent every time we meet. Can't you be more ladylike? Whether I'm ladylike or not has nothing to do with you. Shi Shang sheathed his sword. Where's the thing? You want it? Mu Bai's confidence immediately exploded. He had a decent smile on his face. Do you think I'll give it to you? Why are you so afraid that I'll catch you? Shi Shang suddenly changed the topic. Something flashed in Mu Bai's eyes. Before Shi Shang could see it clearly, he had already returned to normal. I don't want to experience your methods. You're asking me for a favor now, not the other way around. Do you think you have a big bargaining chip in your hand? Mu Bai shook his head. I don't think so, so I destroyed it. He didn't believe that a stalk of snow Ganoderma could make her lower her head. If he really forced her, she would probably die with that man. Shi Shang. F***CK. This idiot. You guys can leave. Mu Bai suddenly turned his head and said to the beauties behind him, Young master? The beauties were anxious. What was wrong with young master? He suddenly dismissed everyone from the holy water temple, and now even they. Mu Bai waved his hand. If you don't leave now, you'll have to die with him. Do you think I'll let them go? Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. If these people knew that Mu Bai was dead, they would kill her. It's your business whether you let them go or not. The smile on Mu Bai's face suddenly became cold. I let them go, but whether they can leave or not depends on their abilities. Shi Shang sneered. I thought you suddenly learned how to be gentle with women. Mu Bai chuckled. Of course I will be gentle with women, but not here. You know better than me, don't you? Mu Bai's goal was very clear. He wanted to kill her. As long as it was something that could be used, he would use it. The system kept saying that this wasn't a game, but Mu Bai and she knew very well that this was just a game. A game for smart people. Mu Bai was about to kneel down again. Her heart ached for him. Chapter 1062. The beauties on the other side were probably hurt by Mu Bai's words just now. Each of them had a miserable expression on their faces. Think about it, that row of beauties all had such expressions. Any man would feel sorry for them. Young master, we pledge our lives to follow you. The beauties said in unison. Mu Bai. Follow him for what, to die? But the beauties didn't want to leave, so Mu Bai had no choice but to let them go. You're calm, not worried about him at all. Mu Bai looked at Qi and with a smile. It seems that in her heart, you're just a... Qi ignored Mu Bai. He didn't like this man very much. Xiao Yu, can you kill him? Mu Bai. Killing without a word, you two perverts. Okay, hurry up and kill yourself. Shi Shang waved his hand. He was annoyed by this idiot and still wanted to sow discord. If he said he would destroy it, then it would definitely be destroyed. It would be a waste of time to talk about it. Mu Bai. How dare you look down on me like this? He looked at Shi Shang suspiciously. She accepted it so easily. She didn't care about that man. Mu Bai then understood. Because this was a virtual world, he was just changing his body. So damn cold-blooded. Mu Bai cursed in his heart. He took out a dagger and prepared to slit his throat. Young master, what are you doing? The beauties rushed forward. They were confused and couldn't understand their conversation at all. They also didn't understand why their young master suddenly wanted to slit his throat. Mu Bai. Can't you just let me kill myself quietly? The beauties pulled Mu Bai and didn't let him kill himself. Shi Shang was a little impatient and went forward with his sword. Mu Bai hurriedly shook off the beauties and slit his throat with a dagger without hesitation. This isn't over. The beauties watched in disbelief as Mu Bai's body fell down. Then, they rushed forward like crazy. Young master, young master. Shi Shang held the tablet and tapped on something quickly. The data that jumped on it made the system a little dizzy, mainly because it couldn't understand it. But it could understand the progress bar at the bottom of the tablet. What was the host blackmailing again? After a long while, Shi Shang put the tablet away and looked at the crying beauties. The beauties did not allow Shi Shang to make a move and followed Mu Bai. No one mentioned anything about avenging Mu Bai. This was really awkward. In any case, you should at least pretend to take revenge for that idiot before you are buried with him. What's the point of being buried with him? It was a pity that there were so many beauties. Let's go. Shi Shang squeezed Qi An's hand. Qi An looked at the corpse thoughtfully, then lowered his head and left with Shi Shang. A voice was carried by the wind. Who is he? Mu Bai. What's your relationship with him? An idiot who always dreams of killing me. If he can't kill me, he'll kill himself. Shi Shang knew that Mu Bai definitely had a backup plan, so he was not surprised at all when the rumor spread that she had killed someone. Mu Bai liked to use these people to force her into a dead end. He probably knew that it wouldn't be of any use and that he was just making things difficult for her. Shi Shang didn't really want to understand the thinking of an idiot. Anyway, the rumor had spread before, so Shi Shang was already used to it. Whoever dared to cause trouble and court death, she would not be lenient. If those people did not come, she would be too lazy to care. She would not care about what the rumor said in the Jianghu. Qi An's body was getting worse day by day. Shi Shang asked many times but did not find the whereabouts of the snow Ganoderma. She was a little disappointed. Mu Bai, you dare to scheme against I. Just you wait. When I find you, I will give you all the 10 torture methods. One day, Qi An suddenly made a request. Xiao Yu, I want to go back to Qianyu Pavilion. Shi Shang looked into the distance and said after a long time, okay. Shi Shang took Qi An back to Qianyu Pavilion. When Qi An returned to Qianyu Pavilion, Zhang Rong was the happiest. Qianyu Pavilion had news of Qi An, but Qi An did not allow them to come. Those who disobeyed would be expelled from Qianyu Pavilion. You rest first, I will go pick up Lu Lin. Shi Shang sent Qi An back to the small building. Now that she was back, Lu Lin, that burden, naturally had to be placed by her side. Qi An pursed her lips and smiled. Go early and come back early. After Shi Shang left, Zhang Rong came in. His expression was a little ugly. Master, you and Lu Yu? Qi An looked up at him. Is there any news? Zhang Rong shook his head. The people of the Dark Hall have been sent out. No one has heard of the contract. That's right, Master. We have the whereabouts of the Red Coral. The Dark Hall is following up. They should send back news soon. Qi An lowered her eyes. No need. Master. Why no need? Qi An's brows had a gentleness that Zhang Rong had never seen before. Her voice was soft. She got it. She. Zhang Rong took a while to react. The she Master was talking about was Lu Yu. The favorability that had fallen to the bottom pulled up a bit and returned to 0. Then the other one. Zhang Rong looked at Qi An expectantly. Qi An did not answer. I am tired. Go down. Zhang Rong had an answer in his heart. Then, Master, rest well. He walked a few steps and seemed to think of something. Master, this subordinate has something to report. Speak. The former hall master of the Storm Hall ran away. Qi An narrowed his eyes. The temperature around them seemed to have dropped a lot. Ran away? How did he run away? Zhang Rong braced himself and replied, He was rescued by someone. Find him. Yes. Zhang Rong left the room and stood there for a while. He then left the small building and went to the entrance of Qianyu Pavilion to wait for Shi Shang. When Shi Shang came back with Lu Lin, Zhang Rong almost thought he had seen wrongly. The youth that was so weak that he could be blown away by the wind did not look weak at all. Young Master Zhang Rong. Lu Lin greeted him. Young Master Lu, you can call me Zhang Rong in the future. Lu Lin was startled by this title and quickly shook his head. This is against the rules. Zhang Rong sighed in his heart. Soon, you will be half a master. Young Master Lu, Zhang Rong will send someone to send you back. I have a few words to say to Miss Lu. Sister? Lu Lin turned to look at Shi Shang and asked for his opinion. Shi Shang nodded slightly. Lu Lin then left with Zhang Rong's people. The surrounding people tactfully retreated. leaving Shi Shang and Zhang Rong alone. Shi Shang wanted to go back as soon as possible, so he did not play any psychological games with Zhang Rong and went straight to the point. What do you want to ask? My lord's body. 3 years at most, half a year at least. Zhang Rong seemed to take a deep breath. His expression was even uglier than before. After a while, he asked with difficulty, My lord did not find the snow Ganoderma? No. Zhang Rong already knew this, but when he heard Shi Shang say it, his last trace of hope disappeared. Zhang Rong could not hide his disappointment. According to the information they received, there was only one snow Ganoderma in Yanhui Valley. It was also the only one in the world. I will send people to continue searching. You, try to make my lord happy. I will have to trouble you, Miss Lu. Of course I will make my lord happy. Shi Shang laughed arrogantly. Zhang Rong was speechless. He really did not know what his lord saw in her. Right now, there were bounties for her everywhere. Even the people in Qianyu Pavilion received many of them. However, Shi Shang only wanted women, and men were useless. Everyone in the pavilion had searched everywhere but failed to find it, so Zhang Rong had no choice but to search outside. However, how could it be so easy to let people experiment on stones on the streets? If they were not careful, they would end up offending people. Zhang Rong didn't find anyone outside, but when he returned, he did find one. The adopted daughter of the 100-piece Hall's Hall Master, Xian Luo. Xian Luo was brought to Shi Shang with a head full of confusion. When she saw Shi Shang, her confusion was immediately thrown to the back of her mind. Sister Lu Yu, you're back? Yes, let's try again. Shi Shang passed the stone to Xian Luo. Xian Luo took the stone and pinched it. The stone slowly emitted a purple light. Shi Shang took back the stone. I need your help. It's not life-threatening, but it's a little uncomfortable. It'll be good for you after this. Think about it. Okay. Xian Luo agreed without hesitation. She was very happy to be able to help Sister Lu Yu. Shi Shang divided the herbs into equal portions and packed them all for Xian Luo. Boil them and drink them. We'll talk after you drink them. Xian Luo. What? Lu Lin. So this was feeding a pig? As someone who had drunk countless herbs before, Lu Lin encouraged Xian Luo to drink the herbs for a month. The taste was really unspeakable. It was so bitter that she couldn't even open her mouth. After drinking all the herbs, Xian Luo's entire body emitted a medicinal fragrance. It wasn't the bitter kind, but a fragrance. It smelled very good. Shi Shang checked Xian Luo's body. Are you sick? Have you ever fainted before? Can you do strenuous exercise? Shi Shang asked a lot of questions in a row. After Xian Luo answered, Shi Shang gave her a bunch of herbs and asked her to take them back to boil. Sister, what are you doing? Lu Lin was very confused. Saving your brother-in-law's life. Shi Shang pushed Lu Lin to the side. Don't block me. Then Xian Luo won't, will she? What can happen to her? Shi Shang rolled his eyes. After this, if Xian Luo was released into the cultivation world, she would definitely be the object of everyone's desire. Lu Lin breathed a sigh of relief. Shi Shang glanced at him. Why do you like her? Lu Lin's face suddenly turned red. Sister, what are you talking about? I'll go see the pavilion master. Lu Lin left as if his butt was on fire. Shi Shang chuckled and continued with what he was doing. After a while, she suddenly paused. Her fingers trembled slightly. In the blink of an eye, there was a thin layer of sweat on her forehead. She opened the door and went straight to Qian's room. Lu Lin was standing outside. When he saw Shi Shang coming, he hurriedly said, Sister, I heard something break inside just now. But when I called the pavilion master, he didn't answer. The door couldn't be opened. Did something happen to the pavilion master? He's fine. Go find Xian Luo and let her take the things I gave her yesterday. You guard outside her door. If she doesn't come out, Don't let anyone in. Lu Lin looked at the door before looking at Shi Shang, who was expressionless. All right then. Shi Shang reached out and knocked on the door. After a while, the door opened. It was Zheng Rong. Qian was lying on the bed. His whole body was curled up under the quilt. Half of his face was covered. The exposed half of his face was full of sweat. Shi Shang took the handkerchief Zheng Rong handed over. She wanted to wipe Qian, but her hand trembled. She supported herself on the edge and couldn't use any strength. Her whole body fell to the ground. Miss Lu? Zheng Rong was shocked. Are you okay? Take care of him. I'll be fine after a while. Shi Shang moved to the side. Miss Lu, have you been too tired recently? If something happened to her, the master would probably go crazy. I'm fine. Shi Shang shook her head. Zheng Rong hesitated and took a chair from the side. Miss Lu, the floor is cold. Sit up. Shi Shang refused Zheng Rong's help. She stood up and sat on the chair. Zheng Rong was a bit puzzled. Every time the master had an attack, her condition would also be bad. However, it wasn't as serious as this time. Qian's attack didn't last long before, but now it had extended to 3 hours. Shi Shang was in pain for as long as Qian was in pain. Qian was in a coma and didn't wake up until midnight. Where's Xiao Yu? Qian's first sentence was to ask Shi Shang. Zheng Rong helped Qian up. Miss Lu just left to take a bath. Is she okay? Chapter 1064. Miss Lu wasn't in a good condition before, but she was fine when she left. Zheng Rong answered honestly. Zheng Rong paused. My lord, may I ask if the contract you asked me to investigate has anything to do with Miss Lu? Qian lifted the blanket and got off the bed. Zheng Rong quickly went to get his coat and cloak. I should be happy that there's someone who can bear this pain with me. Qian's voice sounded slowly. But I'm in pain now. Zheng Rong, I don't want her to suffer with me anymore. She only said that the contract would make them live and die together, but she didn't say that the other party would have to bear all the pain in their bodies. The shock in Zheng Rong's heart was enough to make his mind go blank. It took him a while to find his voice, but he didn't know what to say. My lord, it'll be fine. She was so confident. How could anything happen to her? Qian put on his cloak and walked out the door. Zheng Rong didn't follow. His lord must have gone to find her. Was he going to be a third wheel? After that, Qian acted up again. This time, it was more dangerous than the previous times. Fortunately, he managed to pull through. Zheng Rong knew that Shi Shang felt the same way as Qian, so his heart was heavy. In the past few times, she had barely shown anything, but that was something that even his lord couldn't bear with. Xian Luo didn't leave the room until half a month later. Xian Luo's door finally opened. In the past, Xian Luo was at most cute, but this time, she was extremely cute. Her skin was like a peeled egg. Water could be squeezed out with one pinch. Are you ready? Shi Shang asked Xian Luo. Xian Luo nodded. You don't have to do anything. Just follow the method I taught you. But you can't be distracted or stop. This is to protect yourself. Xian Luo nodded seriously, indicating that she understood. Sit there. Shi Shang pointed to a strange stone circle in the courtyard. There was another one opposite her. Shi Shang went to find Qi and Lu Lin took the opportunity to run to Xian Luo. Xian Luo, are you nervous? I'm not nervous. Didn't Sister Lu Yu say that I won't be in danger? Xian Luo smiled. Yes, Sister said that you'll be fine. Lu Lin nodded. He had to believe his sister. Then I'll go out first. Brother Lin. Lu Lin stopped in his tracks and turned back to look at her. Xian Luo smiled and waved her hand. Brother Lin, wait for me to come out and I'll cook something delicious for you. Lu Lin squeezed his wrist. When you come out, I have something to tell you. Yes, I also have something to say to Brother Lin. Lu Lin's mouth twitched into a smile, and he quickly left. As soon as he left, Zheng Rong closed the door. There were quite a few people guarding the area. Big brother Zhengrong, they'll be fine, right? Lu Lin was panicking. He had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. It'll be fine. The courtyard was so quiet that nothing could be heard. Not only did Lu Lin have a bad premonition, even Zhang Rong had a bad premonition. He kept looking into the courtyard, trying to convince himself that everything would be fine. Everything would be fine. Amidst the silence, someone suddenly shouted and rushed over. Young Master Zhengrong, this is bad. The various sects of the martial arts world have surrounded us. Our people are already fighting with them at the main entrance. Zhengrong's heart skipped a beat. How many people have come? Many, the man replied. So this was the reason why he was feeling uneasy. Young Master Lu, I'll have to trouble you to guard this place. I'll go to the front to take a look. Lu Lin nodded his head nervously. Zhang Rong left all the people he trusted behind and went to the main entrance. The people from the various sects were fighting with the assassins from Delicate Feather Pavilion. And further away, there were some people standing. From afar, he saw a man standing at the front. It was the former Hall Master of Storm Hall. When the former Hall Master saw Zheng Rong, he smiled provocatively and said, "I'm back." Zheng Rong was disgusted. This person was a traitor. The former Hall Master said something to the people beside him, and they all looked towards Zheng Rong's direction. Then, they raised their arms and shouted, "Charge!" Many people from Delicate Feather Pavilion were doing missions outside. Facing so many people, the people from Delicate Feather Pavilion couldn't hold on and kept retreating. Young Master Zhengrong, there are too many of them. We can't hold on any longer. Even if we can't hold on, we still have to hold on. Zhengrong berated. His lord hadn't come out yet, and he definitely couldn't let these people pass. Zhengrong quickly ordered, "Lead them to the Beast Tower. I will lure away that traitor." Without the former Hall Master's command, these people were restrained. Delicate Feather Pavilion wasn't that easy to break through. Zhang Rong originally wanted to get rid of the former Hall Master, but a few black-clothed people came out of nowhere and helped the former Hall Master to deal with him. He remembered these people's moves. They were the same as the people who saved the former Hall Master. The former Hall Master's expression was somewhat sinister. "Zheng Rong, Delicate Feather Pavilion is finished. Why are you still guarding it? If you leave now, I will let you live." His son was gone. He only had one son, and he wanted to avenge his son. Zhang Rong sneered, "In your dreams. Then don't blame me for not caring about our old friendship. I gave you face, but you didn't want it. Did you still think that you were the noble young Master Zhang Rong?" The former Storm Hall's Hall Master and the black-clothed men worked together to force Zhang Rong into a dead end. He broke one of Zhang Rong's legs. "Don't worry, I won't kill you now. I want you to see how your lord dies in my hands. Son, father will soon avenge you. Just you wait. Take him away." The black-clothed people lifted Zhang Rong up. Under his command, the mechanisms of Delicate Feather Pavilion were quickly destroyed. The people of Delicate Feather Pavilion fell down one after another, paving a bloody path towards the last pavilion. The people outside the pavilion resisted with all their might, but in the end, there were only a few people left. They were forced to the entrance of the pavilion. Big brother Zheng Rong. Lu Lin saw Zhang Rong being held up by the black-clothed people. He didn't know whether he was dead or alive, and he panicked. "Stinking brat, if you know what's good for you, then get out of the way." Someone scolded Lu Lin. Lu Lin quickly calmed down. His sister and Xian Luo were inside. He had to protect them. He couldn't retreat. "You want to go in? Over my dead body. Stinking brat, you are courting death." The black-clothed person scolded and slashed at Lu Lin with his blood-stained broadsword. But soon, these people were slapped in the face. As long as they dared to slash at Lu Lin, they would definitely be the ones to be sent flying. The black-clothed people looked at him strangely. "This is strange. What is wrong with this stinking brat? He is Lu Yu's younger brother." The former Hall Master spoke, Maybe he is also a monster. A human definitely wouldn't have this kind of ability. Lu Lin glared at the former hall master with red eyes. You are the monster. Chapter 1065. These people couldn't do anything to Lu Lin, but Lu Lin could only guard the door. He couldn't do anything else. They climbed over the wall from the side. Lu Lin rammed into them from the outside, but these people were also ruthless. They blocked Lu Lin with a human wall. Inside the wall, a cute little girl sat cross-legged. Her wrist was on the ground. There was blood on her fingertips. There was a strange pattern drawn with blood on the ground. Opposite the little girl sat a man. Before they could figure out what was going on, their vision suddenly darkened. Then, they were lifted into the air and fell outside. When they got up and were about to go up, they found that they were like Lu Lin. They were lifted off the ground with a single touch. No matter how many times they tried, it was the same result. In the end, someone suggested to burn it. The fire rose outside the wall, but it couldn't spread inside at all. This strange phenomenon made everyone a little dumbfounded. What kind of monster did they meet? Time passed. Everyone held their breaths and waited. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't enter the yard either. They could only wait. Lu Lin was surrounded in the middle. He probably saw that nothing was wrong, so he stopped attacking them. He just stared at them with hatred, like a fierce wolf cub. Creak. A sound came from the yard door. A figure slowly walked out from inside. The woman was holding an iron sword that shone with a cold light. A cold light flashed in their eyes, and in the next second, everyone was swept away by an invisible sword chi. Then, there was an explosion. Some people didn't even know what had happened until they died. Sister. Lu Lin took the chance to push away the people blocking the way and ran to Shi Sheng. Sister, are you okay? What can happen to me? Go in. Shi Sheng's voice was cold. Lu Lin looked at her carefully and said worriedly, Brother Zheng Rong is still in their hands. Lu Lin didn't know what Shi Sheng meant. He glanced at Zheng Rong, gritted his teeth, and went in. Sister didn't like him questioning her. This was something that happened after that. In the yard, Xian Luo sat on the ground with a pale face. Her body swayed and she could fall at any time. Qian was nowhere to be seen. Lu Lin quickly went forward to support Xian Luo. Xian Luo, are you all right? Xian Luo grinned. Her cute face was very pale at this moment. I'm fine. Sister Lu Yu said that I just lost too much blood. I'll be fine after some rest. Lu Lin hurriedly carried Xian Luo into the house. When he came out, the people outside were already gone. Zheng Rong was left at the door. The sound of an explosion came from afar, and it lasted for a long time. Lu Lin brought Zheng Rong in again, and when he came out again, the sound disappeared. He stood at the door and waited for a while before a figure slowly walked back. The iron sword was covered with blood. It dragged on the ground, leaving a trail of blood. Sister. Lu Lin was a little speechless. His sister's condition didn't seem too good. Shi Shang suppressed the roiling blood in his body and forced himself to walk over. Are you okay? Lu Lin hurriedly shook his head. He was completely fine, but big sister, you seem to be very strange. Elder sister. Lu Lin wanted to help Shi Shang up, but when he remembered that she didn't like him touching her, he restrained himself and asked worriedly, Sister, are you okay? You don't look well. I'm fine. Of course I'm fine. I'm about to die. Shi Shang took a deep breath and used the iron sword to support himself on the ground. Go and see how many people are still alive in the pavilion. After sending Lu Lin away, Shi Shang's face instantly turned pale. She bit her lip and took out a few pills from her space and swallowed them. It took a while for her to recover. Xian Luo was distracted just now and almost failed. Damn it! Why did he have to come at this time of all times? When Shi Shang counted the corpses, he realized that this was the plan of that idiot Mu Bai. His claws were really long. He had even schemed to this extent. Unfortunately, I still not dead. Damn idiot. Mu Bai probably didn't want to kill her. He just wanted to make her feel uncomfortable. This was what they meant by, if I can't kill you, I'll disgust you to death. Pervert. Shi Shang greeted Mu Bai's family a few times. When the assassins outside received the news that such a big thing happened in Xianyu Pavilion, they were all stunned. Fortunately, most of them were outside. It was just that the Dark Hall and Bai and Hall suffered heavy losses. They wouldn't be able to recover in a short time. The people of Jianghu suffered even more losses this time. All the sects and clans settled down and recuperated. However, this feud was definitely formed. The Jianghu officially launched a crusade against Xianyu Pavilion. They vowed to destroy Xianyu Pavilion. However, no matter how they attacked, Xianyu Pavilion was still there. No one could do anything about it. The atmosphere in Xianyu Pavilion wasn't very good. Qi An didn't wake up. His vital signs were normal, but he just didn't wake up. Miss Lu, Master still hasn't woken up. Shi Shang ate sunflower seeds and didn't look worried at all. If he doesn't wake up, then so be it. Miss Lu, Zhang Rong didn't understand. Wasn't she worried? She still had the mood to fight with those people in Jianghu. He didn't understand what she was thinking. What's the use of being anxious? He won't wake up even if you're anxious. Shi Shang cracked the sunflower seeds. If you're really anxious, you can go out and kill those people who are seeking death to vent. She used all the methods she could, but he still didn't wake up. She was also very desperate. Anyway, he wasn't dead. There was no hurry. Zhang Rong. So when you went out to fight before, you were just venting. He suddenly sympathized with those people. Zhang Rong shook his head and left. Shi Shang sighed heavily and threw the sunflower seeds back on the table. He got up and walked into the small building. In the room, a man was lying quietly on the bed. His face was rosy and didn't look pale at all. Shi Shang sat by the bed and took his pulse as usual. She muttered, "How much longer do you want to sleep? If you continue like this, I will want to strangle you to death." His body was still normal. There was no problem. She stared at Qi An for a long time. Suddenly, she covered his face with the blanket. "Host. You don't really want to strangle him to death, do you? This is your Feng Ci. Even if he's a pet, you should have some feelings. What's there to be nervous about? I'm just annoyed when I see his face. It's been so long and he still has this expression." She wanted to see him shy. She wanted to see his cute expression. The host's thoughts are always very strange. Forget it, I'll just go offline. *# today, I'm asking for Osmanthus flavored tickets ##, a new week has begun. Come on, little darlings, throw the tickets in your hands over. ## tomorrow, there's still one more chapter to finish, so don't ask me when this world will end ##, okay? Everyone, good night and good morning #. Chapter 1066. A year later. In the courtyard, the glint of blades and shadows of swords could be seen. Two silhouettes were constantly splitting and merging. After a long while, one of them stopped and waved his hand while panting. "Luo Luo, I can't do it anymore." The cute girl opposite him kept her sword. "Brother Lin, Sister Lu Yu said that you must learn this sword technique within a month." "I can't, I'm so tired." Lu Lin waved his hand and sat on the ground. His expression was slightly gloomy. "I'm not you." Since a year ago, Xian Luo's strength had shot up like a rocket. No matter what she learned, she could learn it in the shortest time possible. Lu Lin's self-esteem took a hit. Xian Luo's eyes turned. "Then I'll go make some delicious food for Brother Lin. We'll continue after you're full." "Continue?" Lu Lin's face was sad. He felt like he was going to die. "Brother Lin, you can do it." Xian Luo encouraged Lu Lin. "I can't." When Xian Luo came over and kissed him, Lu Lin's words were forcefully changed to, I can do it." Then Brother Lin will rest for a while. Xian Luo skipped out. Lu Lin sat for a while before getting up from the ground. He turned around and saw a handsome face. Lu Lin was stunned. Pavilion. Pavilion master? Qian held the door frame. Where's Xiao Yu? Sister. Sister went outside. Pavilion master woke up. Pavilion master woke up. Qian's figure flashed and disappeared in front of Lu Lin. The wind blew the smell of blood far away. The battlefield was full of swords and sabers, and the ground was full of corpses. In the middle of those corpses, there was a girl. Her moves were gorgeous, like a dancer dancing gracefully, but each of her moves was fatal. When the last person fell, the girl sneered. You want to kill me with this little ability? Reincarnate and train for another 20 years. Every time she came out, there would be people sending their heads to her. If she didn't take them, they would feel uncomfortable. She had never seen people who wanted to die so much. Shi Shang shook off the blood on his iron sword and turned around. A gust of wind blew past her, and her ears were filled with the sound of clothes rustling. She looked at the man walking towards her from afar, and a smile slowly appeared on her face. It was gentle and doting. You're awake. I'm awake. The two of them spoke at the same time. The smile on Shi Shang's face suddenly turned sinister. She rolled up her sleeves and said, Very well. Let's fight first. Qian. Why fight first? Shouldn't she be hugging him? Qian refused to fight, but Shi Shang didn't care and beat Qian up. Damn it, she had waited for him for a year. Do you know how many things can be done in a year? Qian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This was completely different from what he had imagined. He had just woken up and was already beaten up. Was he not afraid that he would be beaten up badly? Sorry to keep you waiting. Qian hugged Shi Shang and buried his head in her hair. It's good that you know. I'll save the interest for you. You can pay it back slowly. Qian. He suddenly chuckled, and his smile was filled with joy. I will use my entire life to pay you back. This was her. She was different from everyone else. He liked her. Not long after Qian woke up, Shi Shang took him away, and Qianyu Pavilion was directly handed over to Lu Lin. Lu Lin had nothing to live for. Can I not be the pavilion master? Lu Lin looked at Zheng Rong. Assisting Lu Lin was the task Qian gave to Zheng Rong. He didn't dare to go against it, so he said with all his heart, Pavilion master, according to the rules, the people in the pavilion are not allowed to get married. Pavilion master is the only exception. Don't you want to marry Qian Luo? In his heart, his master would always be Qian alone. Luo said that she wants to travel the world. Lu Lin had nothing to live for. She didn't agree to marry me. Zhang Rong said honestly, Pavilion master, that's because you're not charming enough. Am I not handsome enough? Although he couldn't be compared to his brother-in-law, he was still a handsome man. Zhang Rong's mouth twitched. Pavilion master, charm has nothing to do with looks. Look at your sister. When she's arrogant and confident, that's a type of charm. Is that so? Lu Lin was a little confused. Then what does it have to do with? Zhang Rong explained to Lu Lin seriously, so Zheng Rong lost the new pavilion master. The new pavilion master and Qian Luo went to travel the world. Many years later, Shi Shang met the female lead of this world once. Her luck was still there, and she married a pretty awesome person. The couple loved each other dearly. Although they weren't famous, they lived a good life. As for Sikong Feng, he was released not long after he was caught. The demon sect had long been annexed by other powers. Even if he was released, he couldn't do anything. With no cultivation and no background, Sikong Feng was reduced to begging on the streets. Occasionally, he would act crazy and say that he would unify the martial arts world or something. Those beggars weren't willing to stay with a lunatic. They were beggars, but they were normal people, not lunatics. Heavy snow swirled in the air. Sikong Feng fell on the street, his body stiff. The last bit of his consciousness was leaving him. He used the last of his time to look back on his life. The thing he regretted the most was that he shouldn't have caught Lu Yu. This person is so pitiful. Mother, let's give him a shirt. A crisp child's voice sounded in his ears. He raised his head with difficulty and saw a gentle woman carrying a child. She was looking at him with pity. She turned around and called out, "Hubby, give him your cloak." A tall figure came over and took off his cloak to cover Sikong Fong. He gently said to the woman and the child, "It's cold. Let's go home." The child smiled and waved at him. Sikong Fong stretched out his hand. He didn't know what he wanted to grab. The family of 3 gradually walked away, and his hand eventually fell down powerlessly. The snow rustled, covering the filth and the filth. The world was dyed white and flawless. Shi Shang returned to the system space. She lowered her head and thought about something. After a while, she lifted her foot and walked towards the screen. Name, Shi Shang. Morality points, 345000 health points, 45 points, 62800 mission level. A mission score, 91 hidden mission, completed hidden mission reward, 2000 points item list, Queen's Crown, Ghost King's Heart, Dark Knight, Kirin Blood. Come on, but face, tell me, what do you mean by deducting 30,000 morality points from I? Too many people. You are but face, your whole family is but face. They attacked me first. Shi Shang refused to accept it. I was just defending myself, okay? They died, but you didn't. Shi Shang. But face, you've learned how to twist words and force logic? If you're so awesome, why don't you conquer the universe? Shi Shang rolled her eyes. You just want to deduct my morality points, right? This is automatically calculated. It has nothing to do with me. If it wanted to conquer the universe, it needed a body first. Retarded host. But face, you can scold me again. It's not good to eavesdrop on other people, no, the system's thoughts. Due to the system's behavior of scolding Shi Shang, it lost a few more functions. Although it didn't know when its master added those useless functions, it didn't know. Asterisk the 31st world ended. Very good, after 31 worlds, our system finally has a name, Buttface. Thanks to Wu Li Su Su for the inspiration. Chapter 1067. Everyone knew that Jian Yin had someone backing her. Asterisk, teacher, aren't you going to jump? Before Shi Shang opened her eyes, she heard a teasing voice. The wind blew past her face and it was bone-chilling. Teacher, are you scared? Don't be scared. Once you jump, all your worries will be gone. Teacher, hurry up. It's so cold. You wasted my time. Seriously. Different voices sounded in Shi Shang's ears. She opened her eyes abruptly and the first thing she saw was the rubber field in the distance. Teacher, field, school. Shi Shang quickly came to a conclusion. There was no one on the field. The school building next to it was also quiet. There was no light, so there shouldn't be any classes. The sky was gloomy and it seemed like it was going to rain. The cold wind was biting her face like a knife. She felt like she was being blown into a retard. This head might not be hers. Shi Shang looked down at where she was and suddenly saw the sky below. Shi Shang's body swayed and she felt a little dizzy. She was standing on the rooftop. If she took one step forward, she would fall. Now was not the time to think about this. Teacher, hurry up. Another voice sounded behind her. Shi Shang looked back. There were 4 boys and 3 girls. All of them looked quite decent. The boys were handsome and the girls were beautiful. They were all wearing dark blue uniforms that were similar to those of aristocratic schools. The girls looked a little impatient and leaned against each other for warmth. The boys, on the other hand, looked like they were waiting to see a good show. Shi Shang was speechless. What the hell was going on? Damn it! What were these naughty kids doing? Was the teacher calling her? Shi Shang looked to the side to make sure there was no one around. They were really calling her. Damn it! Teacher, if you don't want to jump, I'll help you. Before Shi Shang could recover from the shock of becoming a teacher, the tallest boy in the team suddenly reached out to push her. "Jump your ass." Shi Shang was furious. She jumped from the edge and kicked the tall boy in the stomach. The boy was unprepared and was kicked by Shi Shang. He screamed and bent over, holding his stomach. "Jin Yu, are you all right?" The girl with light brown curly hair immediately went up to support the boy. Her impatience was replaced by nervousness and heartache. The other two girls also walked over, while the three boys looked at Shi Shang. F***ck, don't be so shameless. A boy cursed and reached out to grab Shi Shang's hair. Shi Shang probably didn't exercise much. His kick just now tore the meridians in his thigh, and he still felt a little pain. In order not to be pulled by his hair, Shi Shang could only endure it and continue to kick. The boy was kicked away again. He cursed as he got up. F***ck, you still dare to fight back. Hold her down. I wanted to let you die with dignity, but now you asked for it. The other two boys who hadn't joined the fight immediately stepped forward and attacked Shi Shang from both sides. There was one more in front of them. 1 against 3, I can't F***king win. Where is I's sword? Shi Shang nimbly pulled out his sword and pointed the sharp blade at one of the boys. Come on, if you're not afraid of death. A bunch of naughty kids. How dare you challenge I? You must be tired of living. I will beat you until your own fathers can't recognize you. Shi Shang pulled out his sword out of thin air. The three boys were a little hesitant, probably because they were scared. They stared at the sword in Shi Shang's hand, their expressions changing. She pulled out her sword out of thin air. Is it fake? One of the boys swallowed and whispered to the boy with a baseball cap next to him. The boy with the baseball cap frowned. It must be fake. It looks like the telescopic toys we bought. Otherwise, where would she keep such a long sword? That makes sense. She wouldn't dare to carry such a thing with her. It must be fake. Fake my ass. How could I's sword be fake? A bunch of blind idiots. Shi Shang slashed the iron sword on the rooftop next to him. Shi Shang squinted his eyes and smiled. Do you still think it's fake? These students were about 15 or 16 years old. At this moment, they were staring at the hole on the rooftop, dumbfounded. The setting they had just established collapsed just like that. The three girls screamed in fear and hid behind Jin Yu, who still couldn't straighten her back. Shi Shang didn't have any memory now, so he didn't know what was going on. But based on these people's instigation, he knew that the plot wouldn't be good. She dared to instigate someone to jump off a building at such a young age. She was F***king awesome. So what if it's real? There are so many of us. Why should we be afraid of one person? Do you think she would dare to use a knife on someone like her? The boy with the baseball cap shouted confidently. The other two boys were a little scared. After all, it was a real knife. Even if they were cut, it would be quite serious. F***king retards. Shi Shang cursed and walked over with his sword. The screams on the rooftop were like a duet. The girls' terrified screams made people's scalps tingle. Shut up. Shi Shang scolded. The girls were still screaming. If you don't shut up, I will kill you. Shi Shang looked down at the girls. Her eyes were too cold, like an emotionless robot. The gloomy sky behind her seemed to be pressing down. The oppressive feeling was suffocating. The girls were probably frightened. Their beautiful faces were full of fear, and their screams gradually weakened. Shi Shang nodded in satisfaction. Let's settle our scores slowly. If any of you dares to tell anyone about what happened today, you will have to bear the consequences. The boys were trembling in fear. Shi Shang was too scary. Shi Shang supported himself with his iron sword and scratched his head. Modern times were so annoying. Forget it. Let's go through the plot first. If there was a real grudge, it wouldn't be a problem to take revenge at any time. Shi Shang dragged his iron sword and walked toward the iron gate on the rooftop. The sound of the iron sword hitting the ground made people's scalps tingle. In the eyes of these students, Her back was a replica of a chainsaw maniac. When her figure disappeared from the rooftop, the iron gate was slammed shut. The boys were so tense that they felt as if they had just unloaded 1,000 kilograms. They looked at each other with pale faces. For a long time, no one said anything. No one knew why things had turned out this way. This was inexplicable. When they recovered, they stumbled to their feet and prepared to leave this damned place. Running to the iron gate, the boy who was pulling the iron gate suddenly froze. "What's wrong? Open the gate." The people behind him urged. The boy shook his head with a pale face. "The gate won't open." "How is that possible?" "Let me try." No matter how hard they pulled, the iron gate wouldn't open. When they arrived, the gate was fine. It could only mean that someone had locked the gate from the outside. The terrifying figure flashed through everyone's mind. Boom! Lightning flashed through the clouds as if it was going to split the sky. Ah. Asterisk yes, the teacher you want. High energy, are you ready? Chapter 1068. The previous host was called Jian Yin. After graduating from university, she coincidentally became an intern teacher at England's Noble School. The previous host's family was average and her parents both had normal jobs. To be able to become an intern teacher at a noble school like England was something to be proud of. Even as an intern teacher, her salary was higher than the teachers of other schools. When the previous host first got this job, she was very happy. But when she started teaching at the school, she realized that things were not as simple as she thought. Which child in a noble school wasn't rich and powerful? If you were a teacher with a background, they might not dare to challenge you. But if you were an intern teacher without any background, how could they listen to her? At first, these people were just pranks. The previous host's personality was a bit weak, so after being pranked, she could only endure it. Her concession had allowed these people to bully and humiliate her even more. She told the school, but the school only told her to think about how to teach. They wouldn't offend these students at all. The worst time for the original owner was when she was locked up in a classroom for a night. It was also the middle of winter and she only wore a thin layer of clothing. When she was rescued, she had a high fever of 41 degrees and almost died. After that time, the previous host wanted to leave England. She really couldn't stay in this hell-like place. When the toy wanted to leave, how could those students agree? They even used her parents' jobs to threaten her. If she didn't have a job, she could find one. After all, she was still young. But her parents finally had a stable job and worked their way up. If they lost their jobs because of this, she really didn't know how to face them. The previous host retreated again. This time, she retreated and caused the final tragedy. The final scene was what she had just experienced. Those students had forced her to jump off the building. At that time, the previous host had already collapsed. Under the provocation of those students, she had jumped off the roof. After she died, those students didn't receive any criminal punishment. The school and the police concluded that she killed herself. The previous host had died so miserably, but she wasn't even cannon fodder. It only appeared in the case file of the school violence that the female lead uncovered, but it was only briefly mentioned. The previous host had 2 wishes. The first was for her parents to live peacefully for the rest of their lives. The second was for revenge. She didn't want to be so weak anymore. She wanted to live properly and live her life to the fullest. You don't want to break up the ship? Dismantle your grandpa. The male and female leads haven't appeared yet. Host, don't make trouble. Do your job well. What kind of novel is this if the male and female leads don't appear? Bad review, bad review. F***CK, how could a random cannon fodder be counted? System, are you F***king broken? You're the one who's broken. In the world built by novels, even cannon fodder has a complete life. In any case, I'm going to break up the couple. I don't want to talk to the retarded host. You will suffer retribution. Shang came over just when those naughty kids were threatening the original owner of the body to jump off the building. The reason for forcing the original owner to jump off the building was also quite ridiculous. It was still her parents. They knew her weakness and used it to their advantage. Instead of learning the right things at such a young age, he actually dared to force others to jump off a building. Damn, the kids nowadays have such bright futures. When a person was rich and powerful and didn't have to worry about food and drink, what they lacked was excitement. These brats bullied others in search of excitement, forcing their teachers to jump off a building. Their hearts might have long been twisted. School violence was really scary. The school had 3 days off on New Year's Day. When Shi Shang came over, it was the last day of the holiday. So Jin Yu and the others were locked up on the rooftop for an entire night before they were rescued. The 7 of them were almost frozen to death. This news instantly blew up in the school. Who had the guts to lock them up on the rooftop? Jin Yu's group was very prestigious in Yinglong School. Other than Jin Yu and the other 3 boys were all heirs of large enterprises. The 3 girls' family backgrounds weren't bad either. They belonged to the upper middle class in the circle. They were called the 4 little princes and the 3 little princesses by the students of Yinglong School. Why were they called little? Because there were people above them. Those people were the main characters' team. They weren't on the same level as side characters like them. It was a school novel, so this was the setting. Princes and princesses. The students in the classroom gathered together to discuss this matter. Most of them looked like they were waiting to watch a good show. Who did this? Aren't they afraid that they won't be able to survive? How dare they? I heard that they were all hospitalized. There will be a good show when they come back. I really want to know who has the guts to do this. Tisk tsk. I don't even know how I died. It's scary just thinking about it. I heard that they were locked up on the rooftop for an entire night. Why didn't they call for help? It can't be that no one brought a phone with them, right? I don't know why there was thunder that day. The nearby signal tower seemed to have been struck. We couldn't make any calls. It's strange. Thunder in the middle of winter. Clang. Crash. The classroom door was suddenly kicked open. The water basin placed on the door tilted down. The water and ice inside all poured onto the floor. The classroom suddenly quieted down. Everyone looked at the door. But there wasn't a sorry figure at the door as they expected. After a while, a figure slowly walked in. She kicked the basin away and swaggered up to the podium. Her petite body was straight. She was wearing a black down jacket. Her long hair was casually draped over her shoulders. A few strands of hair that blocked her eyes were tucked behind her ears, revealing her ears that were slightly red from the cold. She slammed the book in her hand on the podium and supported herself with both hands. She looked at the students who were sitting in a mess. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, forming a beautiful arc. Everyone, who was this person? There was a new teacher in their class. Why hadn't they heard about it before? Everyone looked at her again and felt that the clothes were a little familiar. After a while, a student asked uncertainly, "Jian Yin?" Shi Shang retracted her hand and crossed her arms. "Why? Did you leave your brains at home and forget to bring them back?" All the students looked at Shi Shang in horror. Was this really Jian Yin? What a joke. How could Jian Yin be so beautiful? Jian Yin's image. Short hair that reached her ears, big glasses that covered half of her face, stiff makeup, always hung her head, and her voice was as soft as a mosquito's. Now, look at this person. Long black curly hair, a fair and clean face, delicate and natural makeup. She stood confidently and proudly, even a little arrogantly. Her words were full of energy. No matter what, these 2 people couldn't be the same person. Asterisk, this is a fake group. Shi Shang. Wife, come and watch me teach this brat a lesson. Feng Si, I want to sleep. Shi Shang. Class dismissed. Students. Chapter 1069. Jian Yin's image was deeply ingrained in their hearts. They didn't want to believe that this person was Jian Yin. This was a real-life version of an ugly girl. If it was filmed as a brainless TV series, the ratings would be high. Shi Shang was also dumbfounded when he saw this body for the first time. The original owner wasn't ugly. She was a delicate and pretty young lady with a hint of cuteness. A casual smile could make people like her. Such a good foundation had actually been ruined by her to such an extent. Shi Shang was also in despair. In the previous world, everyone was beautiful, had a sweet voice, had a good family background, and had a strong background. Their manners and image were also top-notch. But he had never met such a terrible character. Zhang Wan's world wasn't as bad as this. After all, she was a celebrity. A character that couldn't even be considered cannon fodder. He couldn't expect much from her. System, I told you that I wouldn't accept such a character. I wanted a character that could act cool. Host, can't you fight for yourself? If I fought for myself, everyone else would have nothing to eat. Although the host was boasting shamelessly, it couldn't refute because it was the truth. Are you really Jen Yin? Are you Jen Yin's sister or something? Student A stood up and guessed. I don't know, when my parents gave birth to a sister for me, Shi Shang replied with a smile. Student A. Then she really was Jen Yin? God! How could this be? The students were probably shocked. No one spoke for a long time. Who put the basin there? Shi Shang pointed at the basin at the door. Teacher Jen, does it matter who put it there? A girl with a cute hairpin asked arrogantly. She didn't care about Shi Shang at all. So what if she became beautiful? In this world, makeup skills were so good that even an ugly girl could become a beauty. But her identity would never change. Perhaps it was the words of the girl with the hairpin that reminded everyone. They regained their senses and began to tease Shi Shang. Teacher, what have you been doing these 3 days? How did you suddenly become so beautiful? Could it be that you're being kept by someone? Ha ha ha, I didn't realize that teacher was so pretty. You should have dressed up earlier. Why did you come here for class? Teacher, how scary could a teenager be? Especially a child from a noble school like this? Shi Shang had already experienced it in her previous world. These people's worldviews were being molded, and they were also in the rebellious phase. The more you don't let them do something, the more they will do it. Since no one admits it, then everyone will be punished. Shi Shang's voice spread throughout the classroom. Teacher, you must be joking. You dare to punish us? Do you not want this job anymore? The girl with the hairpin sneered. She was still a child, but her makeup was comparable to the adults outside. If you think it's a joke, then so be it. Shi Shang shrugged indifferently. Bring your swimsuits and go to the swimming pool. The students were dumbfounded. Why would they go to the swimming pool at this time? What's wrong? I gave you a break, but you don't want to go. Do you want to continue your classes? The girl with the hairpin seemed to be wondering what Shi Shang wanted to do. After a while, she waved her hand and said, "Let's go." She wanted to see what this teacher, who usually didn't even dare to breathe loudly, wanted to do. After the girl with the hairpin gave the order, the others immediately stood up and went to the lockers at the back of the classroom. They each took their things and walked out. Although it was cold outside, it was not cold inside the swimming pool. This was the generosity of a noble school. After everyone changed into their swimsuits and trunks, Shi Shang slowly appeared, still wrapped in her down jacket. She waved her hand and said, "Do whatever you want." The students were a little suspicious. Was she not going to say anything? They didn't have to go to class, so they only hesitated for a while. Soon, they went to the swimming pool and had fun. Shi Shang sat on the chair above and looked like she was watching a show. The temperature of the swimming pool had dropped. Everyone felt cold and walked to the shore, but it was even colder there. Some people ran towards the door, but found that the door was locked. The changing area was outside the swimming pool. Once the door was locked, they couldn't even get their phones. The door of the swimming pool was soundproof. No matter how much they screamed inside, they couldn't hear them outside. Why is the door locked? Wasn't it fine when we came in? The heater was turned on in winter. Maybe someone accidentally put it on. A few students stood at the door and muttered, "Didn't anyone bring their phones in?" Everyone shook their heads. Their phones were blocked in the lockers outside. "Teacher, where's your phone?" The girl with the hairpin came over with two boys and asked Shishang for her phone. "I'm poor. I can't afford it," Shishang replied without a change in her expression. The girl with the hairpin was speechless. She went up and pulled Shishang's down jacket, wanting to get her phone. Shishang wouldn't let her have her way. She grabbed her wrist with one hand. "Ah!" The girl with the hairpin screamed in pain. She glared at Shishang with disgust and anger. "What are you doing? Jian, are you crazy? Let go of me." The girl opposite her smiled gently. "Didn't I teach you to be polite? Who needs you to teach me that? Are you worthy? Let go of me." The girl with the hairpin started punching and kicking. "You two, pull her away. How dare this lunatic touch me with her dirty hands? She should take a look at herself first." Shishang pushed the girl with the hairpin back and she fell into the pool. Splash! The people who were still in the pool heard the commotion and looked over. The people at the door also ran over. "Jian, why did you push Jingjing?" A girl who was probably the hairpin girl's best friend questioned Shishang angrily. "Did I push her?" Shishang put his hands in his pockets and denied flatly. "So many of us are watching. How can you deny it?" The girl was even angrier. "Maybe you're all blind." The students were speechless. This definitely wasn't Jian. How could Jian dare to say such a thing? Impossible. The girl with the hairpin, Wei Jingjing, came out of the pool and raised her hand to slap Shishang. Although she wasn't the richest in the school, she had been flattered most of the time. When had anyone dared to treat her like this? This ugly girl actually dared to push her. It was a 3-day break. She left her brain at home and didn't bring it back. Wei Jingjing came at Shishang aggressively. She looked like she was going to fight it out with him. Shishang's expression was cold and indifferent. He casually took a step back. Wei Jingjing's slap missed and her body staggered. She slipped on the ground and fell awkwardly. Her knees made intimate contact with the ground. Wei Jingjing was in so much pain that tears rolled down her cheeks. She fell by herself. "I didn't push her." Shishang stood at the side and tried to clear his name. Chapter 1070. The crowd couldn't be bothered to argue with Shishang. They were all concerned about Wei Jingjing. Wei Jingjing was helped to the side. The temperature in the pool had dropped significantly. They could already feel goosebumps all over their bodies. Only then did they realize that the heater had been turned off and the water level in the pool was dropping slowly. These students all gathered around Wei Jingjing, talking all at once. "It's her. It must be Jian Yin's doing. She walked at the back." The girl who spoke was the one who had questioned Shishang. Her name was Fan Rou. Fan Rou's words immediately drew everyone's attention to Shishang. In the classroom, Shishang had said that they were going to be punished. Then, he had suddenly asked them to come to the pool. Now, it seemed like there was a conspiracy. "Jian, was it you?" Fan Rou's eyes widened. "It was me," Shishang admitted. Everyone was speechless. Jian must have gone crazy. "Jian, don't you want to stay in Yinglong anymore?" A boy shouted. "Let us out now." Shishang smiled. "I can't do anything about that. It depends on when the people outside find out. Then, they will open the door and let you out." "Damn it, Jian, are you crazy? How dare you lock us in here? I will make you leave immediately once we get out." Who did she think she was? How dare she go against them? "You're amazing." Shishang's expression didn't change. The boy was a little smug. "Are you scared? If you are, let us out and apologize to us. Maybe we will let you leave Yinglong with dignity." Shishang put on a fake smile. "You should think about how to get out now." His voice echoed in the empty pool. It sounded a little eerie. Jian, you're asking for it. The boy's expression changed. He suddenly rushed toward Shi Shang and swung his fist at him. Shi Shang's body might not be able to beat up a strong person, but he was confident that he could beat up a brat. The boy screamed as he was pushed into the pool. Shi Shang suddenly became so fierce that the students were a little scared. The weak were afraid of the strong were afraid of the strong, and the strong were afraid of those who didn't care about their lives. From their point of view, Shi Shang didn't care about her life anymore. If anything happened to any one of them, it would be enough to make her suffer. She actually dared to treat them like this. Wasn't she courting death? The swimming pool quieted down again. Shi Shang put his hands back into his pockets and smiled. Instead of wasting time with me, you might as well find a way to get out of here. The temperature is dropping fast. Jian, you're crazy. Fan Rou shrieked. I was driven crazy by you guys. The original owner was already in a trance because of this. You won't have a good ending if you go out. You don't have to worry about it. You bitch, let us out. You called me AB*TCH, and you want me to let you out? Are you dreaming? Shi Shang was calm and composed from the beginning to the end. The students were still young after all. Even if they were a little shrewd, they were still not as shrewd as Shi Shang. Soon, many girls in the swimming pool began to cry. The boys tried their best to scold Shi Shang, but in the end, they were also cold and began to tremble. They only had so much cloth on them. The girls brought in towels to protect themselves from the cold, but some of the boys didn't even bring a towel. Help! Is there anyone outside? Help! I'm dying, open the door. Why did the temperature drop so fast? Even if the heater was turned off, it couldn't have dropped so fast. A clear voice sounded from behind them. Maybe my hand shook and turned on the heater. Now you know the cold. Damn it, if you poured that basin of ice water on it would be much colder than it is now. Everyone. This lunatic. Jian, do you want to freeze us to death here? The boy who wanted to beat up Shi Shang just now shivered. How can that be? I don't want to go to jail. Killing people was illegal. It was really awkward to hear such words from the host. Then why don't you let us out? Do you know the consequences of offending so many of us? The boy gritted his teeth angrily. Shi Shang thought for a moment. I don't know, so I want to try. Everyone. This was really going to heaven. They couldn't win in a fight or an argument. Threats were useless. The students had no choice but to jump around in the cold air, trying to warm themselves up. Some people found that the temperature under the water was warmer, so the group moved back into the water. However, as the temperature in the room got lower and lower, the water temperature also kept dropping. Jian, what do you want to do to let us out? Shi Shang shrugged with an expression of helplessness. I was wrong, teacher. I shouldn't have done that to you. Please let me out. I won't go against you in the future. A girl couldn't take it anymore and cried out. What are you doing? Why are you lowering your head to her? She won't dare to do anything to us. Just endure it. The person next to her immediately scolded the girl. The girl's face was full of fear and her teeth chattered. But I can't take it anymore. I'm so cold. I feel like I'm going to die. It's just your imagination. Shi Shang's words were immediately met with angry glares from the crowd. At first, these people resisted. Some people begged Shi Shang for mercy, but they were all scolded back. But in the end, almost everyone couldn't take it anymore and started to apologize to Shi Shang. Of course, the most important thing was to shift the blame. They said that they were doing this because of the 7 people who were hospitalized. They didn't mean to bully her and said that they would make it up to her when they got out. Shi Shang didn't believe the nonsense of these naughty children. It had been more than an hour since these people were rescued. They were just a little bit badly from the cold, but there weren't any major problems. This incident alarmed the school, and even the principal was involved. Before the students could identify Shi Shang, the people at the swimming pool stepped forward to admit their mistake. The swimming pool's door was controlled by wires. The wires were burned out, and the heating system was also paralyzed. Because not many students came to the swimming pool in the winter, some staff members left without permission. In addition, they were usually careless in their work and didn't check the door and the heating system carefully. They were also very desperate when such a thing happened. The students weren't happy about this and started pointing fingers at Shi Sheng. Of course, Shi Sheng wouldn't admit it. He wasn't stupid. So the students were dumbfounded. You admitted it yourself. Principal, it was her. She did it. She wanted to kill us. She admitted it herself. Jian, why are you denying it? Aren't you arrogant? Do you think you'll be fine if you deny it? Principal, you have to help us. Jian is crazy. Boo-hoo. Shi Sheng rolled his eyes. I don't deny that she's retarded. Do you think I's that stupid to go against you? I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve. ##, I'll be a little busy for the next few days. Don't miss me ##, remember to vote ##, love you guys ##, I'm begging for votes today #. Chapter 1071. These students' families might not be much in England, but there were so many of them pointing out the same teacher at the same time. According to the school's usual practice, they would let the teacher take the blame according to the students' wishes. If the teacher was gone, the school could just put up a recruitment post and countless outstanding teachers would apply for the job. But these students were different. The school could still tolerate offending one student. But it was hard to say if they offended the students of Class 1. Who knew if these students' families were related to the higher-ups or were on good terms with them? It was not that the school was afraid of these people, but the school was afraid of trouble. So in order to avoid some trouble, the school would help the students when it was not a particularly important situation. Over time, these students felt that it was natural for the school to help them. But this time, in the face of such a matter, the school gave a conclusion that surprised everyone. This had nothing to do with teacher Jian. It was just an accident. This matter ends here. Don't spread it. The principal's gaze swept across the group of angry brats in front of him and landed on the calm Jian. His gaze suddenly deepened. He retracted his gaze and left with his hands behind his back. The moment the principal left, the brats exploded. Jian, you're amazing. Wei Jingjing walked to Shi Sheng, her beautiful eyes burning with anger. Who's backing you? The school made such a decision, so there must be someone backing her up. Wei Jingjing was almost certain that Jian was being supported by someone. She wondered who had such bad taste to fall for her. You can slowly experience my strengths. Who did I need to support her? Idiot. Wei Jingjing's expression became uglier. Jian, do you think that you can live a glorious life with someone backing you up? Shi Sheng said, I can live a glorious life for 2 lifetimes too. Of course, you won't be able to see it. Wei Jingjing, Shi Sheng's line was not in Wei Jingjing's mind. She did not reply for a while. In the end, she could only say stiffly, Jian, let's wait and see. This matter was not over. Jingjing, wait for me. Fan Rou hurriedly chased after Wei Jingjing. When Fan Rou passed by Shi Sheng, she wanted to bump into him, but Shi Sheng was already prepared to step back when she came over, so when Fan Rou bumped into him, she missed him and almost fell. Fan Rou steadied herself and glared at Shi Sheng angrily. Shi Sheng did not quite understand the thoughts of these naughty children. She wanted to bump into him, but he dodged. She was still angry. Should he just stand there and wait for her to bump into him? Isn't I the only supreme setting? What the hell was this group of brats trying to steal her settings? After Wei Jingjing left, the others followed suit. However, every student who left pointed at the Shi Sheng and said the same thing. Jian, just you wait. Just you wait. As soon as Wei Jingjing left the infirmary, a few students surrounded her. Fan Rou spoke first. Jingjing, I can't take this lying down. I must take revenge. Don't worry, I won't let her have it easy. Wei Jingjing snorted coldly. When I get back, I'll ask my dad to investigate who gave the principal the order. I want to see what kind of person she can get involved with. Jing Jing, you're so thoughtful. Fan Rou immediately flattered her. Wei Jingjing waved her hand like a big sister. Let's go. The other students dispersed. They definitely did not have to go to class today, so they had to go back and complain. Therefore, with the group of students complaining, many people knew Jian Yin's name. Wei Jingjing was also very fast. Soon, she found out from her dad who gave the principal the order. But when she saw the name, Wei Jingjing's expression turned ugly. There were a total of 3 directors in Cherry Orchid School. 2 of them were nothing to be afraid of. Only one of them was the 3rd successor of the founder of Cherry Orchid School. This person had the absolute right to speak. It could be said that when it came to Cherry Orchid School, whatever he said was right. This heir's family was not weak either. They were at the level of the top wealthy families. And what she got was this heir's name. Wei Jingjing was so angry that she was trembling. How did she get involved with this person? It was impossible to use her family to pressure them. These people rested at home for 2 days before coming to class. Of course, on the surface, they were resting, but secretly, they were pressuring their families to pressure Yinglong School and expel Jian Yin. Some families tried. After all, most of the children nowadays were only children. If a teacher dared to bully their children, wouldn't their children take revenge on them? But these families were all rejected by the principal calmly. He said that it was the decision of the higher-ups. If there were any problems, they could go to the board of directors. This meant that he did not care. He could not do anything about it. After asking around and finding out that it was the heir's decision, these families did not dare to cause trouble. The students did not get the answer they wanted at home, so they could only discuss how to chase Shi Shang out of the school. So when Shi Shang went to class, what greeted her was not ice and water, but animal feces on the podium. The students sat in their seats and looked at her gloatingly. Who knew that Shi Shang did not even enter the door and left after saying, "Self-study." Then, when school was about to end, they suddenly heard a broadcast. The content was that the students in each class should clean up. Although Yinglong School was an aristocratic school, they usually paid attention to the balance between work and rest. Occasionally, they would do some cleaning, saying that it was to train the students' hands-on skills. Usually, this kind of thing was done by the people at the bottom of the class. However, the broadcast just now clearly said that if anyone dared to let others replace them, their final credits would be deducted. As the children of big families, grades were also a tool for comparison. The final credits were very important. Generally, if they did not make a big mistake, their final credits would not be deducted. When their credits were below the standard, they would be expelled from Yinglong School. One had to know that those who were expelled by Yinglong School were basically disgraced in this circle and had become a dark history. Therefore, in Yinglong School, even the most arrogant people would pay attention to their credits. They must not be below the standard. Is the school crazy? They wanted to deduct credits just for a cleaning. It's probably crazy. Sigh, forget it. Anyway, there are people cleaning the school every day. Let's just go through the motions. Let's go, let's go. It's so annoying. I don't know who set this rule. There must be something wrong with their brains. The students complained, but most of them still went. Only the students in Year 2 Class 7 had a bad feeling. Yes, Year 2 Class 7. It was the class that Shi Shang taught. Sure enough, when they saw Shi Shang walk in slowly from outside the classroom, their expressions changed. Shi Shang leaned against the doorframe and looked at them with a smile. Let's go. I'll take you to experience life. Previously, you kept talking about Shi Shang as a teacher. Chapter 1072. The students of Year 2 Class 7 were led to a grassy field. In front of them was a man-made lake. The scenery was beautiful. They didn't see any rubbish. What are we doing here? I don't know. Anyway, there's no rubbish. We'll go back after a while. Shi Shang stood on the path outside and smiled wickedly. There are many surprises hidden in this field. Watch your step. You might step on it. Ah! Just as Sheng finished speaking, a girl screamed in disgust. Everyone followed the girl's gaze. There was a pile of feces hidden in the field. It had been stepped on by the girl just now. Blurg. Some of the more delicate girls started to retch. They all ran outside, but some of them were unlucky. They didn't step on it when they came in, but stepped on it when they ran out, causing them to scream. Ah, why is there so much feces here? God, it's disgusting. I can't take it anymore. I want to vomit, blurg. These rich young master girls couldn't accept stepping on feces. They probably felt uncomfortable all over. Jianyin, why did you bring us here? You. Wei Jingjing rushed to Sheng. She didn't know why, but she swallowed the rest of her words. Sheng answered seriously, I'm responding to the school's call. Don't you like it? I'll let you pick it up to your heart's content. In order to obtain these things, this Bao Bao spent a lot of effort. Wei Jingjing's mind raced. Then she glared at her. It's you. It's me. Sheng's eyes curved into crescents. The words, I did it on purpose, were engraved on her forehead. Unfortunately, I'm also the teacher who will be checking this time. So, students, do your best. Wei Jingjing. The students behind them were also dumbfounded. Did this mean that if they didn't pick it up, their credits would be deducted? Teacher, the one in the morning was fake. A student stepped forward to explain. They didn't have the guts to do such a disgusting thing. At this moment, she was obviously taking revenge for what happened in the morning. Sheng shrugged. Oh, I thought it was real. I'm timid and can't stand being scared. You're timid? You want to be a coward? Is there anyone in this world who is brave enough? Teacher, can we not use? Sheng interrupted the student before he could finish his sentence. It's not like my credits are being deducted. As long as you guys are happy. Everyone, Jianyin, don't push me too far. Wei Jingjing couldn't bear it anymore. She wouldn't pick up such a disgusting thing. Be reasonable. I'm just returning the favor. Sheng wanted to roll his eyes, but he restrained himself when he remembered that he was a high and mighty teacher. A teacher should act like one. I'm a dedicated teacher. All the students. You're definitely the first teacher in the entire school who dares to do this. Sheng's attitude was that it was up to them whether they wanted to pick it up or not. Anyway, if they didn't pick it up, their credits would be deducted, and the whole school would make a public announcement. This group of people struggled for a while. They had already scolded him, but he simply ignored them and sat at the side eating melon seeds. Since he couldn't beat them, he could only brace himself and pick them up. The group of people vomited like dogs. They probably wouldn't be able to eat when they went back. Jianyin, I'm not done with you. Wei Jingjing's eyes were red, and she was so angry that she was trembling. Sheng took notes in his notebook. Bring it on. Whoever's scared is a retard. I'm not afraid of you causing trouble. I'm only afraid that you won't cause trouble. If there's trouble, we'll do it together. After Sheng finished taking notes, he took the notebook and left. She didn't check other places at all. These people would be fools if they still couldn't tell. Jingjing, there's something wrong with Jianyin. How could a person's personality change so much in such a short time? Wei Jingjing glanced at Fan Rou and shouted angrily, Can't I tell? Fan Rou felt a little uncomfortable being yelled at. Why was she yelling at her when she was being bullied? Although she felt uncomfortable, she didn't dare to show it on her face. She suggested softly, Jingjing, we have to investigate her. I don't need you to tell me. Wei Jingjing was furious. She was usually hot-tempered, but now it was even worse. Fan Rou was yelled at until she stopped talking. Teachers in elite schools had their own independent offices and dormitories. When Sheng returned to the dormitory, he found that his door had been pried open. His room was in a mess. There were large words written in paint on the floor. Something about AB*TCH getting out of school, One look and he knew that it was done by those students. Shi Shang immediately called the school and the school sent someone to deal with it. Because they didn't know the relationship between this person who had suddenly changed her personality and the people above, they didn't dare to delay and immediately changed Shi Shang's room. The environment of the new dormitory was much better than the previous one. For example, the new dormitory was much better. The previous one was like a cheap hotel. The new one was like a presidential suite in a 5-star hotel. The dormitory was on the 2nd floor. There was a living room, a kitchen, a television, and a refrigerator below. There were rooms and a study upstairs. The internet was smooth and the space was spacious. Needless to say, the interior was decorated with expensive materials. The next day, Shi Shang found out that this was a high-end dormitory for students. It cost more than 10,000 yuan to stay for a semester. How could a teacher have such a good place to stay? Of course, that was for ordinary teachers. If a teacher with a strong background needed to stay in the school, they would have their own small villa. In short, there was only one thing that could be said about Sakura Orchid's backstage. It was the weekend and there were no classes at school. Shi Shang went out to buy some daily necessities for himself and then went back home. After waiting at home for a while, the parents of the original owner came back. They were surprised to see Shi Shang. Mother Jian immediately asked with concern, "Xiaoyin, why are you back? Have you eaten? Are you hungry?" She didn't even call me when she came back. I didn't even buy any groceries. Hey, old Jian, go and buy some groceries. It's not easy for our daughter to come back. Make her something delicious. Father Jian wasn't good with words, so he listened to Mother Jian and left with the keys. Mother Jian went straight into the kitchen to get busy. She took the time to ask about Shi Shang's daily life. "Xiaoyin, how are you doing at school? I heard that the children from those aristocratic schools are very naughty. Will they make things difficult for you?" "She's fine." Shi Shang stood at the kitchen door. "No matter how naughty she is, she's still a child." Mother Jian seemed to be amused. "You child, you're not even that old." Jian Yin had just graduated and was only 22 years old. She really wasn't that old. In the eyes of parents, their children would never grow up. Shi Shang was very curious. How did the original owner go to Sakura Orchid to be an intern teacher? The teachers there were either masters or doctorates. Most of them were overseas returnees. What about the original owner? Although she graduated from a famous school, her resume was definitely the worst in Sakura Orchid. The plot only mentioned one thing: coincidence. "Host, do you want to do the side mission?" "No. Goodbye." "Wait, why are you asking me if I want to do it or not? Generally speaking, didn't it directly threaten her to deduct points? This side mission doesn't involve the main mission." The system didn't want to answer, but it couldn't help but remember. If it didn't involve the main mission, then it wasn't important. Even if it was important, this baby wouldn't do it. "If I say I'm not doing it, then I'm not doing it." Mother Jian asked Shi Shang a few more questions. She was still worried that her daughter wouldn't have a good time at school. Shi Shang comforted her and slipped back into his room. Chapter 1073. When Father Jian came back, Mother Jian tugged at him mysteriously. "Don't you think our daughter has changed a little this time? She's become prettier." Father Jian answered honestly. Mother Jian glared at him. "That's one thing. She's more cheerful than before." Father Jian thought for a moment. "Maybe she's in love. It's good to be cheerful. She's grown up. Let her do whatever she wants." Mother Jian thought it made sense. Only girls in love would pay attention to their appearance. "I'm not worried about her." Mother Jian was unhappy. How could she not be worried about her daughter? Yes. Hurry up and cook. Wash the vegetables." After dinner, Shi Shang stayed for a while and left. Before she left, she gave them amulets. She said that she had asked for them at the temple and that it could protect them from disasters. She asked them to keep it with them. Parents generally wouldn't refuse their children's requests. Plus, their children suddenly became sensible and knew how to care about them. Father and Mother Jen happily carried the amulets with them. Take good care of yourself in school. Mother Jen sent Shi Shang away. Don't get into conflicts with others. I know, Mom. You should go back. Shi Shang was helpless. I'll send you out of the neighborhood. Mother Jen pointed at the front door. Mother Jen repeatedly reminded her to send her out of the neighborhood. She only went back when she saw her out of sight. Shi Shang pulled the scarf around her neck. It was given to her by Mother Jen. She wanted to take it off, but after thinking about it, she didn't. It was almost 10 o'clock at night when she returned to school. There were 4 doors on this floor. The door next to hers was occupied by 2 girls. She heard that they were from the university. Yinglan provided a one-stop service from kindergarten to university. She was responsible for all your studies. The original bishop went to high school. When she went back, the 2 girls happened to come back. They looked at her strangely. Who's this? Why haven't we seen her before? She moved in yesterday. I asked around. She's an intern teacher from the high school. The other girl answered. We have to go out later. Don't waste time. The girl who asked the question lowered her head to look for the key. Why is an intern teacher from the high school living here? It seems that there aren't enough rooms. Did you find the key? That's strange. I clearly brought it. Shi Shang opened the door calmly and closed the door before the 2 girls could find the key. School reopened on Monday. There was a class in Shi Shang in the afternoon. This time, the group of students actually didn't cause any trouble. Shi Shang went in, put the lesson plan on the podium, pulled out a chair and sat down. Self-study. All the students. Teacher Jen, aren't you going to class? A male student sitting in the front row asked. I'm too lazy to teach such a simple lesson. You can learn it yourselves. Shi Shang glanced at him and smiled. I believe that since you guys are so smart, it won't be a problem for you to self-study. The male student was dumbfounded. What did she mean? Why didn't it feel like he was praising them? Of course not. They would definitely be happy. After all, no one liked to attend classes. While Shi Shang was playing games, they were discussing how to deal with her. The class passed quickly. When the class was about to end, Shi Shang suddenly knocked on the podium, causing the students to look up. Today's homework. The projector at the back showed a few big questions. Yes, it was the original bishop's mathematics. You didn't even go to class. Why did you give us homework? Some students were unhappy. I asked you to self-study. Why didn't you go to class? You can't even solve such simple questions. Have your IQ been eaten by pigs? Shi Shang stood up with the lesson plan. The subject representative will collect the homework tomorrow. If you didn't do it, write down your names. There will be a surprise. All the students. It was more like a shock. The moment Shi Shang stepped out of the classroom, there was an uproar behind him. Why aren't Prince Yu and the rest back yet? Jen Yin was going crazy when they weren't around. It's been so many days. Shouldn't they be back for class? I haven't heard anything recently. Could it be that Prince Yu and the rest haven't found the person who locked them up? Jingjing, you're closer to Prince Yu. Why don't you call him and ask? Fan Rou poked Wei Jingjing, who was lying on the table. Wei Jingjing was not in good spirits, but in front of so many people, she still took out her phone and called Jin Yu in order to show her relationship with him. Wei Jingjing called for a long time and shook her head. No one answered. Why didn't anyone answer? Could something have happened to him? Why don't we go to Prince Yu's house to take a look? Prince Yu hates it when people go to his house. Then what should we do? They were all waiting for Prince Yu and the rest to come back and teach Jen in a lesson. The next day, the subject representative collected the homework. Naturally, there were many people who didn't do it. Shi Shang looked at the list of names and smiled creepily. As a teacher, how could he not punish them to copy homework? Those who didn't do their homework were collectively punished to copy 100 times. If they didn't copy a question, it was fine, but their credits would be deducted. Jian, you're just an intern teacher. You don't have the right to deduct credits. Wei Jingjing stood up angrily. It's my privilege. Shi Shang supported himself with both hands on the podium. His tone was brisk and had a hint of arrogance. Don't you know this very well? Wei Jingjing's small chest rose and fell quickly. Where did you get your privilege from? This woman came from an ordinary family. She didn't have any rich relatives. Then how did she get involved with the higher-ups? She even got the school to protect her. It's none of your business. Even if you have it, you can't use it so carelessly. Fan Rou stood up to support her. I'm using it carelessly. You have a problem with that? The school won't let you do this. Then you can go and complain. Shi Shang's fearless attitude made Fan Rou speechless. She could only look at Wei Jingjing for help. Jian, wait for Prince Yu to come back. You'll get it. Wei Jingjing glared at Shi Shang. Her family couldn't go head-to-head with the school, but Jin Yu and the rest were different. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows and said casually, "Oh, they still have the guts to come back. I'll be very impressed." Wei Jingjing was a little confused. It wasn't until Shi Shang walked out of the classroom that an unrealistic thought appeared in her mind. Did she mean that Jin Yu and the rest were locked up because of her? Thinking about what she had done recently, it was really hard to say. Fan Rou's brain didn't work as fast as Wei Jingjing. Jingjing, what did she mean? I don't know. Wei Jingjing pushed Fan Rou away and strode outside. Help me copy my homework. Later, help me apply for leave. Fan Rou's expression changed. She tightened her grip on the textbook. After a while, she let go and sat down to copy her homework. Wei Jingjing caught up with Shi Shang. She grabbed his arm and asked in a low voice, "Did you do something to Jin Yu and the rest?" Shi Shang frowned and pulled his hand away. Why? Do you want to try it too? It's really you. Wei Jingjing looked as if she had seen a monster. You even dared to offend them. Do you want to die? Why wouldn't I dare? They're all humans. Do they have 2 more arms or 2 more legs? Shi Shang rolled his eyes. Chapter 1074. I've offended too many people. Besides, I'm not offending anyone. I'm just teaching them a lesson. Compared to what they did to the original owner, this isn't even an appetizer. Wei Jingjing suddenly sneered. Jian, do you really think you can rest easy just because you have someone backing you? I can already foresee how you'll die. Ha ha ha. Shi Shang looked up at the sky and said seriously, "Yes, it's good to dream in the daytime. Goodbye, dreaming girl." Oh, right, copy your homework yourself. I recognize your handwriting. If you ask someone else to do it for you, it'll be doubled. Wei Jingjing's expression immediately turned ugly. Wei Jingjing gritted her teeth and glared at Shi Shang's back as he left. This despicable woman. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, a basketball rolled down the stairs and hit Wei Jingjing's leg. Who is it? Wei Jingjing was already angry. After being hit by the basketball, she immediately exploded and turned to look at the stairs. Don't you have eyes? Her body was stuck in her throat and her face was as white as a sheet. A boy stood on the stairs. He was wearing a white shirt and the corners of his shirt were casually tucked into his pants. His flaxen hair fell just above his eyes. His skin was delicate and his face was more beautiful than the average girl's, but he didn't look feminine at all. His eyelashes were slightly lowered and his thin lips were gently pursed. One couldn't tell if he was happy or angry. He was surrounded by a noble and elegant aura. He had one hand in his pocket and slowly came down the stairs. Wei Jingjing couldn't help but step back. She seemed to be very afraid. Senior. The boy bent down to pick up the basketball. His fine hair fell down, revealing his fair ears. He was very good-looking. However, Wei Jingjing didn't have any intention of appreciating him. She was trembling. She was very afraid of the boy in front of her. The boy carried the basketball and walked past Wei Jingjing without even looking at her. When the boy's figure disappeared, Wei Jingjing's body went limp and she leaned against the balcony behind her. She was scared to death. How could she be so unlucky to have met him? Jingjing? What's wrong? A passing classmate saw Wei Jingjing leaning against the balcony with a pale face and hurried over to ask. Wei Jingjing's forehead was covered in sweat. However, she couldn't show her fear in front of outsiders. She puffed up her chest. Nothing. On the way back to the dormitory, Shishang felt that someone was following her. Before she could find the person who was following her suddenly disappeared. Shishang walked around in circles for a while, feeling strange. Was his chi of a bastard so powerful? Most of the people following her were hired by the group of naughty children. Her days were quite boring, and she had to play with a group of children. She was also quite stupid. However, this was a legal society, and she could only continue to be a retard. Sigh. As expected, he hated this kind of world. On the way back to the dormitory, Shishang met the two girls next door again. They were very anxious. It seemed that the door couldn't be opened. The long-haired girl complained, "I told you to bring the key when I left. Why didn't you bring it? Didn't I leave in a hurry and forget?" Another short-haired girl muttered, "We're going to be late. Hurry up and call the school to open the door for us." It's still too late. The long-haired girl's eyes lit up when she saw Shishang. "Sir, can we borrow your balcony?" They were on one side, and the two balconies were close to each other. There was a distance of half a meter between them, and they could jump over. "Why?" Seeing that there was hope, the long-haired girl hurriedly said, "We forgot to bring our books, but we left the key inside. Our class is about to start, and it's very important. We want to go in from the balcony. Sir, please." The long-haired girl was quite cute and had a pleasant voice. Shishang thought for a while and let them in. The two girls immediately rushed to the balcony, but they were a little hesitant when they went over. Although it was only half a meter away, it was a challenge for girls, especially girls like them who were spoiled since they were young. Seeing that they were dawdling for a long time, Shishang rolled his eyes speechlessly. He pushed them to the side and easily flipped over to the opposite side. His movements were nimble and smooth, and he looked very handsome. The two girls blinked. After a while, they came to their senses and hurriedly ran back to the door. Shishang opened the door for them from the inside. "Sir, you're amazing." The long-haired girl's face was full of admiration. "Have you learned kung fu, taekwondo, judo, or—" "You're late for class." Shishang interrupted her. "Ah, yes. The long-haired girl rushed into the dormitory and rummaged around. When she found something, she took it out and dragged the short-haired girl away. "Sir, thank you. I'll treat you to dinner when I come back." Shishang wanted to say, "You forgot your keys, and you didn't even close the door." But the two girls had already run out of sight. That night, the two girls knocked on the door again and begged Shishang to open the door for them again. The long-haired girl was called Lin Qianlan and the short-haired girl was called Lin Yishuan. They weren't related by blood. They just happened to have the same surname and lived in the same dormitory. "Sir, have some fruit. Yishuan just bought it. It's very fresh." Lin Qianlan was more lively and forgetful. "It's okay. I'm going back now." Shishang nodded slightly. "Ah, sir, don't. You helped us twice today and I'll treat you to dinner." Lin Qianlan tugged at Shishang. "I've already eaten." "You've already eaten." Lin Qianlan looked disappointed. "Then tomorrow." "Sir, give me your phone number. I'll call you after class tomorrow." Since Shishang didn't want to give her his number, Lin Qianlan wouldn't let her go. In the end, Shishang had no choice but to give her his phone number. Lin Yishuan was more composed. She thanked Shishang solemnly. "Yishuan, this teacher has such a good personality. Lin Qianlong sighed as she watched Shi Sheng leave. Lin Yixuan's mouth twitched. She couldn't see what was so good about him. Lin Qianlong said that she wanted to treat Shi Sheng to dinner. She called him the next afternoon. At that time, Shi Sheng was sitting at the lectern flipping through the homework that they had copied. Lin Qianlong asked which class she was in. She took Lin Yixuan, the conjoined twins, and stormed out of the classroom. The people in the classroom recognized the two beauties who had suddenly appeared. They were still wearing their university uniforms, so they could recognize them at a glance. The students were curious as to who they were looking for. They didn't rush in directly. Instead, they stood outside and only waved at Shi Sheng after class. Shi Sheng continued to give out a pile of homework and left empty-handed. The students in the classroom had different expressions when they saw that the two beauties were looking for Shi Sheng. Since when did Jian Yin know someone from the university? Don't you have classes in the afternoon? No. Lin Qianlong shook her head. Teacher, your students don't seem to like you very much. Lin Yixuan glanced at the classroom behind them. Shi Sheng looked sad. Probably because I'm not a guy. Pfft, ha ha ha. Lin Qianlong laughed. Lin Yixuan's mouth twitched. Lin Yixuan changed the topic. What do you want to eat? There's a new Western restaurant near the school. Let's try it. Lin Qianlong suggested. I heard it's delicious. Lin Yixuan frowned. Qianlong, you're treating me to a meal, not you. Lin Qianlong patted her head. Oh right. What do you want to eat? Shi Sheng said without hesitation, a food stall. Lin Qianlong was speechless. Lin Yixuan was speechless. Chapter 1075. Shi Sheng didn't actually take them to a food stall. Instead, he took them to an exquisite restaurant called World Cuisine. The restaurant was decorated in an old-fashioned style. It wasn't very big, but there were plenty of customers. Why didn't I know there was a restaurant like this before? Lin Qianlong looked around. The environment was great. It's new, Shi Sheng answered. No wonder. Lin Qianlong wasn't a foodie, but she liked to try new things. Whenever she heard of a new restaurant, she would go and try it. The dishes were served quickly. There were 4 dishes and 1 soup for the 3 of them. Oh my God, it's so delicious. Lin Qianlong's eyes lit up. Good reviews, of course. Lin Yixuan shook her head. Although it was delicious, as a lady, she had to pay attention to her image. It's so delicious. Lin Qianlong rubbed her stomach. Too bad I can't fit it all in. Sir, do they serve takeout? What for? Lin Yixuan glared at Lin Qianlong. Oh, supper. Didn't you say you wanted to lose weight? You're eating so well tonight. You'll have to gain back what you lost. There are 2 desserts that are pretty good. Shi Sheng waved for the waiter to pack some for them. Sir, you're so nice. Lin Qianlong was so touched that she cried. Shi Sheng was speechless. Don't flatter me. When they left World Cuisine, it was still early. Lin Qianlong and Lin Yixuan wanted to go shopping. Shi Sheng refused. Lin Qianlong said a few words, but Lin Yixuan could tell that Shi Sheng wasn't going, so she dragged Lin Qianlong away. Shi Sheng went back to school alone and found a place to sit at the school gate. She looked at the time. It was about time for the female lead to report to school. This school novel. Well, it wasn't about the ugly duckling. The female lead's family was quite rich, comparable to the male lead's family. The female lead caused trouble overseas and was chased back to China. Then, she was told that she had a fiancé who was betrothed to her when she was a child. According to the cliché plot, the male lead was the female lead's fiancé. The female lead hides her identity and enters the school. She battles with the male lead in a battle of wits and courage. Both sides get rid of their n number of love rivals, reveal each other's identities, and finally step into the grave of love. Apui, the palace of marriage. From then on, the princess and the prince live a happy life. Shi Shang watched as a short-haired girl dragged a broken suitcase and slowly walked over from the opposite side of the path. Her head was lowered, and her clothes were a little dirty. The female lead was supposed to arrive at noon today, but she encountered a fight on the road. Seeing injustice on the road, she pulled out a knife to help. She was taken to the police station for a lesson, so she only arrived now. The female lead walked to the school gate and spoke to the guard, but the guard looked down on her and refused to let her in. At this time, the male lead naturally went on stage. He drove a luxury car and hit the female lead. Then, the two of them quarreled at the school gate. It was the end of the school day. There were students from both the university and the high school. The male lead was the school hunk of the university. If he quarreled with a girl at the school gate, wouldn't it cause a commotion? Shi Shang was sitting at the side, eating sunflower seeds. This was the live version of a domineering senior who bumped into me. Apologize. The female lead grabbed the male lead's collar, her voice full of vigor. The male lead's face was a little gloomy. He twisted the female lead's hand away. I haven't asked you to pay for the car I took, and you still want me to apologize? You're quite bold, you brat. The male lead's strength was definitely greater than the female lead's. The female lead's dirty face immediately fell. Are you a man or not? How dare you hit a girl? Where's your manners? Where's your upbringing? Do you want to try whether I'm a man or not? The male lead moved closer to the female lead, his face full of threat. Shi Shang covered his face with both hands. So King dirty. Compared to you, this is nothing. Also, why are you cracking your fingers? How dare an experienced driver say something like this is dirty? You're tarnishing the word, dirty. Shi Shang calmly moved his hands away and continued to watch the show. In school novels, why do the male leads like to call the female lead, brat? Shi Shang chatted with the system. Maybe it's because it's a little special. The system thought for a moment before answering. After all, in school, everyone called her brat. The female lead's uniqueness was immediately highlighted when the male lead called her brat. Once she was special, the male lead's die-hard fans would be jealous. Once they were jealous, they would stir up trouble. Once they stirred up trouble, the male lead would be able to save the damsel in distress and improve his relationship with the female lead. Scheming, Shi Shang commented. Hee hee. Don't you know that scheming can win people's hearts? I don't want to talk to the host at all. I'm telling you, I'm not done with you. The female lead shouted with her hands on her hips. The male lead sat back in the car, rolled down the window, and revealed his handsome face. Heh. What are you laughing at? The male lead sized her up with an ambiguous expression, started the car, and left. The female lead was so angry that she stomped her feet and shouted from behind the car, Bastard, don't go. Which class are you from? Leave your name if you dare. All that was left for the female lead was a trail of exhaust. The male lead left. There was no more drama to watch. Should I go up and stir up some trouble to make my presence known? Host, you're just a cannon fodder who hasn't shown up yet. It's not your turn to stir up trouble. Don't stir up trouble. The system is very tired. Shi Shang. She didn't even have the right to stir up trouble now. Forget it, I'll just act cool. I'll be a high-level cannon fodder. Shi Shang got up and walked into the school. After the female lead finished scolding the male lead, she was squatting on the ground to tidy up the suitcase that had been damaged by the male lead. Slap. A girl suddenly walked out from the group of onlookers and kicked the suitcase. The suitcase skidded a distance. If Shi Shang hadn't jumped quickly, it would have hit her leg. Shi Shang. I'm not the one stirring up trouble, right? The girl's expression changed when she saw Shi Shang. Why was this lunatic here? Shi Shang looked up at the girl and smiled. Multiply today's homework by 2. The girl's face fell immediately. She didn't dare to say anything. She felt wronged. She wasn't targeting her at all. But she couldn't say anything. After all, She was facing a lunatic who wanted to add more homework whenever she didn't like it. The onlookers didn't understand what was going on. Their eyes wandered between Shi Shang and the girl. What was going on? Who is she? Most of the onlookers were from the university department. They came from different circles, so it was normal that they didn't know each other. I don't know her. Do you know her? She's an intern teacher from the second-year class 7 of the high school department. Her name is Jen Een. Someone who knew her explained. Let me tell you, she's really something. She made the second-year class 7 so miserable. She seems to have some background. An intern teacher. Shi Shang walked around the suitcase and the female lead. He walked into the school under everyone's strange gazes. Don't let go of an opportunity to act cool. Maybe you won't be able to act cool in the next moment. Professional acting cool for 1,000 years. Last time, it was 100 years. Now, it's 1,000 years? Hashtag my host might have a cat biscuit in her brain. Please recommend a good mental hospital hashtag. Chapter 1076. Mu Rong Xiao watched as Shi Shang walked past her, and her expression changed. Was there something dirty on her? Did he have to walk so far around her? Mu Rong Xiao pursed her lips and looked at the girl who kicked her suitcase. Hey, why did you kick my suitcase? The girl was still immersed in the fear that her homework would be doubled if she didn't finish it. Upon hearing Mu Rong Xiao's question, she suddenly turned around and ran away. Mu Rong Xiao. The crowd. What was this? They thought they were going to see a cat fight. The female lead appeared, and the supporting characters retreated. The students of Year 2 Class 7 were horrified to find that Shi Shang had started his lesson. Is she thinking of ways to prank us again? They hadn't had a break in the past few days. They tried all sorts of methods and took turns, but in the end, they were the unlucky ones. They had so much homework that they couldn't finish it. The fear of being dominated by homework. Not doing it. Even worse. You can do whatever you want if you have someone backing you. Who knows what's wrong with her? The student in the yellow shirt, come up and do your homework. The student in the yellow shirt looked constipated. How could he be so unlucky to be seen by her? He slowly went up and held a pen, but he couldn't write a word for a long time. He could recognize the symbols on the paper, but when they were put together, he couldn't recognize them at all. Was this really a Year 2 question? Shi Shang picked a few people, but no one could solve it. Your heads are just for show. Shi Shang waved his hand. Stand at the door and don't stare at me. Do you want your homework doubled? The student who was staring at Shi Shang immediately lowered his head and walked to the door. I-oh. Suddenly, a cry came from the door. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. Here it comes. Mu Rong Xiao felt that she was extremely unlucky. Not only was she rejected when she came to register, she also met a jerk, and now she was bumped into in class. She stood up and covered her butt. She glanced at the boy who bumped into her. The boy's expression was ugly, and he didn't seem to have any intention of apologizing. He walked past her and stood behind her. Then, a few more people came out of the classroom. Like the boy, they stood there with ugly expressions, and she could vaguely hear them cursing in a low voice. Mu Rong Xiao. What's wrong with them? She raised her head and looked at the class sign. It was Year 2 Class 7. She knocked on the door and entered. Mu Rong Xiao was stunned by the teacher on the podium. This was the teacher who had avoided her yesterday. She had heard that he had a strong background. Mu Rong Xiao retracted her gaze and shouted loudly, reporting, I am the transfer student, Mu Rong Xiao. How come I didn't know there was a transfer student? Was he using his precious time to play games? Oh. Mu Rong Xiao rubbed her nose awkwardly. Her gaze swept across the classroom. There were a few empty seats at the back. Those were the seats of Jin Yu and his gang. Mu Rong Xiao walked directly to Jin Yu's seat and sat down under everyone's strange gaze. Shi Shang's eyes curved. There was going to be a cat fight. Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at her? Is the answer written on her face? Shi Shang knocked on the table. The students immediately looked away. The solution to this question is very simple. I will only tell you once. If you can't do it, then you are hopeless. Go back and get a tutor. Mu Rong Xiao felt that she had entered a fake aristocratic school. Why were these people so serious? Didn't they say that Year 2 Class 7 was the worst class in Year 2? The teacher's words were sarcastic. Soon, Mu Rong Xiao found out that these people were only serious in Shi Shang's class. The rest of the teachers were almost on the verge of tears. Mu Rong Xiao couldn't stand it and became enemies with Wei Jingjing's gang on the first day. Shi Shang stood outside and watched the show. The students thought that she was going to cause trouble. However, after looking at her for a long time, they realized that she was eating melon seeds outside and had no intention of coming in. Only then did they continue their catfight. After the catfight, Mu Rong Xiao was still on duty. Mu Rong Xiao felt wronged, but she still did her duty with a huff. Shi Shang only had one thing to say about this female lead. She was convinced. 2 words, retarded host. Asterisk monthly votes. Monthly votes. Monthly votes. Important things must be repeated 3 times. Chapter 1077. Once the female lead was on stage, Jin Yu and the others, who were more important supporting characters, had to return to school. Shi Shang was not in class. Shi Shang heard that Jin Yu's girlfriend had slapped Mu Xiao. That's right, Jin Yu's girlfriend. She was the curly-haired girl on the rooftop called by Qian. Mu Xiao was chased to a corner. When she came back from the toilet, the books she had just collected were all messed up and there were all kinds of rubbish on the table. Mu Xiao was furious. She tried to reason with them, but they all said they didn't see anything. During lunchtime, Mu Xiao went to the cafeteria alone. Yinglan's cafeteria was divided into different classes. Of course, those classes were for the rich students. Most of the students were in the same cafeteria. Teacher, what are you looking at? Lin Qianlong asked curiously as she waved a spoon in front of Shi Shang. Shi Shang looked away and said calmly, "There's going to be a fight later." Fight? Lin Qianlong said awkwardly, probably because the word was a little vulgar. Who's that? Shi Shang looked at the 2 people opposite him. Why are you here? This was the high school cafeteria. The 2 people opposite her were from the university. They had crossed half the campus to eat in the high school. There were cat biscuits. They even told her that it was a coincidence. Coincidence my ass. Lin Qianlong rubbed her head. We came to get something for our professor. We were hungry in the afternoon, so we had to eat here. Lin Yixuan ate silently. She didn't want to say that they were delayed for so long because of the idiot next door. Teacher, you said. Who are they? Lin Qianlong was more curious about this. You'll know when you see. Lin Qianlong was very curious, so she kept looking over. There were still many people in the queue. She seemed to see someone and was surprised. Yixuan, I think I saw him just now. Who? Lin Yixuan asked instinctively. Ling Su. Lin Yixuan looked over but didn't see anyone. You must be mistaken. Why would he be here? Don't be a love-struck fool. Shi Shang ate silently. You're definitely not mistaken. It's the male lead. How can the male lead be absent from the show later? It's all a trap. Shi Shang, who had seen through the truth, felt very lonely. Experts are always lonely, sigh. Lin Qianlong pouted. Everyone loves beauty. Ling Su's face is definitely the prettiest in Yinglan. She's a flower of Yinglan. Lin Yixuan was silent for a moment before she said, If he hears you, you'll become a flower of Yinglan. Lin Qianlong quickly waved her hand. I didn't say anything. Shi Shang listened to the 2 girls gossiping. After finishing her food, she wiped her mouth and glanced over. Jin Yu was coming in with a group of people. When the people in the cafeteria saw them, they acted as if they had seen a bully and automatically made way for them. In the blink of an eye, Jin Yu and the others were fighting with the female lead. The reason was that Bai Qian wanted the female lead to give up her seat to them, but the female lead didn't agree. Ah! The people around them gasped. Bai Qian had splashed all the food that the female lead had just gotten onto her body. Unfortunately, the male lead happened to pass by, and the soup splashed onto him. The entire cafeteria was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Ling Su's gaze swept across Jin Yu and the others. Bai Qian was so scared that her face turned pale. She tried to explain herself incoherently. Prince Yu, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. It's all her fault. When Mu Rong Xiao heard Bai Qian slander her, she immediately jumped up. What do you mean? You splashed food all over me, and now you're slandering me. Ling Su looked at Mu Rong Xiao in disgust. He tugged at his jacket that was stained with vegetable juice and said arrogantly, "Apologize." Bai Qian heaved a sigh of relief and shrunk behind Jin Yu. Mu Rong Xiao was speechless. It was clearly her fault. Why did she have to apologize? I say, this classmate. Anyone with eyes would know that she was the one who did it. You want the victim to apologize? Are you crazy? She really didn't understand how the male lead's brain worked. What did he mean by bullying her because he liked her? It was simply poisonous. If it was a guy, it would be fine. After all, guys had a higher tolerance. But what about girls? Did he think about the psychological trauma a girl would have? If he liked her, he had to pamper her. He had to pamper her to the point that no one could stand her. Wasn't that enough? When the people in the cafeteria heard this, they looked towards the source of the voice. A girl was walking towards them. Everyone's expression became strange. Especially the people from Year 2, Class 7. They were all waiting to see a good show. Their teacher was indeed crazy. Otherwise, why would she dare to provoke Prince Yu? On the other hand, when Jin Yu's group saw Shi Shang, their faces turned pale. They were probably reminded of the scene on the rooftop. Who are you? Ling Su frowned. Who told you to be a busybody? Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. A student from my class did something wrong. As a teacher, I have to teach her a lesson. Right. Bai Qian? Jianin. You. What are you trying to do? This is school. Bai Qian looked even more frightened than before. Shi Shang smiled. It's exactly because we're in school that you have to listen to me, right? Or do you want to try it again? Bai Qian grabbed Jin Yu. Jin Yu glared at Shi Shang angrily. Jianin, don't be so smug. If I want you to get out of Yinglong Academy, it's just a matter of words. He would never forget what happened on the rooftop. He had to teach this woman a lesson. Shi Shang smiled and nodded. Yes. Dreams are full, but reality is hard. You can work hard too. Who knows? Maybe it will come true. But for now, apologize to this student and run 20 laps on the field. I'm definitely not helping the female lead. I'm just taking the opportunity to teach them a lesson. Alright, I'll destroy the opportunity for the male and female lead to get to know each other better. What kind of joke is this? The last few words were stuck in his throat. Jin Yu seemed to see the girl with the sword on the rooftop again. Her aura was terrifying and she exuded a chill from head to toe. Shi Shang stood with his back facing Ling Su. He couldn't see her expression, but he could see the changes in the few people opposite her. They were afraid of her. Bai Qian couldn't stand the pressure. I'm sorry, Morong. Bai Qian apologized, and the others followed suit. Jin Yu struggled a bit, but Shi Shang's stare made his scalp numb. He kept feeling like a sharp sword would come slashing at him in the next second. But as the little prince who ran rampant in the school, how embarrassing would it be if he apologized? Shi Shang suddenly waved his hand. Jin Yu was so frightened that he took a step back. He was a child after all. Even if he was evil, he couldn't be compared to an adult. He immediately shouted, "I'm sorry." Shi Shang twirled his hand in the air and ran his fingers through his hair. 20 laps. For every lap less, you'll have to pay double. Chapter 1078. Jin Yu and the rest endured the terrifying pressure that enveloped them as they made their way to the sports field outside. All of them hated Shi Shang to the core. Shi Shang wanted to follow them out, but he heard a shout from behind. "Stop right there." "What?" Shi Shang turned around. "Male lead, are you still going to plead for mercy for the 7 animals? Which class are you from?" Ling Su looked at him with his nostrils. His tone was as if I was talking to you and it was your good fortune. "It's none of your business," Shi Shang retorted without hesitation. "How dare you try to act cool in front of I? Once I started acting cool, I could kill you in seconds." Ling Su narrowed his eyes. In Yinglan, no one dared to talk to him like that, whether it was a teacher or a student. "Ha!" Ling Su turned to look at the person beside him. "Which class is she from?" A girl raised a hand at Ling Su's question. "Prince Su, she's from Year 2, Class 7. "You know too much." Shi Shang looked at the girl. He was expressionless and calm. But it was this calmness that made the girl think of one word: silence. She swallowed her saliva. There were so many people around, what could she do? She must be hallucinating because Prince Su was here. The girl comforted herself and shrank into the crowd to avoid Shi Shang's gaze. Year 2, Class 7? After hearing Ling Su's name, the surrounding temperature seemed to drop to freezing point. No one dared to breathe. Prince Su was angry. Oh no, this teacher was dead meat. Being thrown out of Yinglan was considered a light punishment. The students in Year 2, Class 7 were looking forward to it. They couldn't wait for her to offend Ling Su so that they wouldn't have to see her again. They didn't want to see this lunatic at all. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. He didn't seem to notice the strange atmosphere around him. "What's wrong?" Ling Su snorted. "Ha!" He strode towards the entrance of the cafeteria. "Ha, your ass." Shi Shang stretched out his leg without hesitation. Ling Su's eyes were on the top of her head and she didn't look down. Unfortunately, she tripped and fell forward. Ling Su was shocked. She reached out to support herself on the table beside her. She flipped over gracefully and steadied herself. The girls in the canteen were all stunned. If there was a bullet screen, it would be like this, so handsome. How can a living prince be so handsome? What should I do? I want to give birth to a monkey for Prince Su. Prince Su, look at me. I'm your die-hard fan. Shi Shang pursed his lips. Why did the male lead have such brainless fans while he didn't? I also want a brainless fan. Host, quickly wake up. The male lead on the other side is about to explode. After Ling Su steadied himself, his gloomy gaze swept behind him. His voice sounded like it was squeezed out from the gaps between his teeth. Who is it? Everyone pointed at Shi Shang in unison. It was her. It was her. It was her. Shi Shang. Hey, you naughty kids, did you use the treasure Ming Ming? It wasn't bright when it should be, but it was bright when it shouldn't be. Ling Su's face was frighteningly gloomy. He strode towards the Shi Shang and aimed a slap at the Shi Shang. Fuck. Hitting a woman. My dear male lead, you have no taste. It's not just the male lead who wants to hit you. Any normal person would want to hit you even more so if you're not normal. Before Ling Su's palm landed, Shi Shang grabbed his hand. Ling Su's palm suddenly hurt and he quickly retracted his hand. He turned his hand over and saw that his palm had started to bleed. Ling Su. He quickly retracted his hand. His handsome face was so dark that it looked like ink could drip from it. Just you wait, young master. Shi Shang looked at Ling Su clenching his fists and leaving the canteen quickly. He smiled ambiguously. The male lead just wanted to play a trick. Why did you go and offend him? Shi Shang retorted. He was the one who stopped me just now. Thank you. If you didn't ignore him, would he have stopped you? The male lead is an arrogant person. You suddenly appeared and ignored him. How could he feel comfortable? Shi Shang rolled her eyes. Then do I have to give him a hug of love? My host might have a bug that can endlessly attract the male lead's hatred. The incident in the canteen was quickly spread throughout the school by the students using all kinds of tools. The intern teacher, Jian Yin, did not hesitate to confront Prince Yu in order to win his favor. The intern teacher, Jian Yin, punished Prince Jin Yu to run to the field. Strangely, Prince Jin Yu did not resist. The group of 7 thought that Shi Shang would not watch. Who knew that she would sit on the field and stare at them while eating melon seeds? They tried to resist but were frightened in the blink of an eye. Their bodies turned to jelly and they still had to run. They were being watched by a lot of people. They were utterly embarrassed. Mu Rong Xiao stood in the crowd with a complicated expression on her face. They're from the Jin family. Teacher, you're awesome. Lin Qianlong sat next to Shi Shang and gave her a thumbs up. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. The Jin family? Are they awesome? They're all right. Lin Qianlong nodded. They're considered awesome in the high school. I have a grudge against them. If I don't kill them, I won't feel at ease. Shi Shang's voice was not loud and there were other voices behind her. Lin Qianlong could not hear them clearly. She only heard that she had a grudge and that she would not feel at ease. Lin Qianlong asked curiously, "What grudge do you have with them?" Shi Shang turned to look at her and revealed a strange smile. "Go find out what they've done and you'll know." Lin Qianlong blinked and looked at Lin Yixuan. Both of them were confused. After Jin Yu and the others finished running, they were completely paralyzed on the ground. The 3 girls were directly sent to the infirmary. Shi Shang walked slowly to Jin Yu's side and looked down at him. Her eyes were calm. "You're welcome to cause trouble. Otherwise, I'll be bored alone." Jin Yu was so angry that he almost vomited blood. This despicable woman. He did not know what was wrong with his family. Why didn't they help him teach this woman a lesson? But when he saw her, he was so scared. Next. Shi Shang bent down slightly. The smile on her face looked like the smile of a devil to Jin Yu. Her voice was so soft that only he could hear it. "All you need to do is try your best to stay alive." Jin Yu's eyes widened. This is a lawful society. What are you trying to do? So you still know that this is a lawful society? Shi Shang sneered. How could she not have known when she threatened the original owner of this body to jump off a building? Jin Yu seemed to have recalled this as well. His face turned pale. The next second, he remembered something. "You're just an ordinary person. Aren't you afraid that something will happen to your parents?" "I'm so scared." Shi Shang patted her chest exaggeratedly. Then, she looked at Jin Yu with disdain. F***CK, you're retarded. Come on. Cause trouble. You have a lot of time anyway. Hey. Come on. Cause trouble. It's either you die or he dies. Hey. The host has taken her medicine. Don't ask me who Shi Shang's backer is. It will be written later. Chapter 1079. After Shi Shang left, Jin Yu and the rest immediately felt the terrifying pressure on them disappear. Their breathing became easier. "You." The guy next to him was so angry that he couldn't breathe properly. "What's wrong with that woman? Why does she seem like a different person?" This wasn't the Jian Yin they knew. Jin Yu's face was ashen. "Do you know what my family said?" "What did they say?" another guy asked. Jin Yu gritted his teeth. "They told me not to offend her." The other 3 guys' faces stiffened. Who's her backer? How can someone who can enter Yinglong Academy not have a backer? Jin Yu's eyes were filled with malevolent hatred. Since she had a backer, why did she have to put on such an act? They had done so many things. If they didn't even dare to offend her family, would she let them off? The more Jinyu thought about it, the more scared he became. No, we have to strike first. Outside the field, the guy had one hand in his pocket and the other holding a phone. He leaned against a tree trunk with his slender legs crossed. His gaze landed on the bold title on the screen. In turn, teacher Jian Yin didn't hesitate to go against Prince Su to win his favor. The guy turned his finger and the phone screen suddenly dimmed. He raised his head slightly and looked in the direction of the field. It was clearly winter, but he was only wearing a thin white shirt. He didn't seem cold at all. The students passing by all lowered their heads and didn't dare to look at him. It was as if he was a terrifying virus that would be infected if they got too close. "Hey!" The guy suddenly called out to a passing male student. The male student looked around in panic and the people around him immediately dispersed. The guy in the white shirt was looking in his direction. He pointed at himself. He couldn't be calling him, right? Definitely not. Under the nervous gaze of the male student, the guy nodded. "Come here." The male student wanted to cry but had no tears. He walked forward in fear. "Senior. Senior, what can I do for you?" The guy took out a piece of paper from his pocket and handed it to the male student. "Send this to the principal." The male student was speechless. Sending a letter? He was scared to death. He hurriedly took it. "Senior, don't worry. I promise to complete the mission." The male student slipped away and immediately left the area of the male student. Shi Shang parted ways with the Lin sisters and went out to look for food alone before returning to the dormitory. "Teacher, wait. Teacher. Teacher Jian." Someone called her from behind. Shi Shang paused. Mu Rong Xiao was running towards her. She was still wearing the dirty school uniform. She caught her breath and said, "Teacher, thank you for just now." "I'm not helping you," Shi Shang said honestly. Mu Rong Xiao was stunned. "Thank you, teacher." Shi Shang turned around and left. He didn't want to chat with the female lead because he was afraid that he would be tricked. However, Mu Rong Xiao did not intend to let Shi Shang off the hook. She ran up from behind and said worriedly, "Teacher, weren't you a little too strict just now?" Shi Shang was speechless. He had no idea what the female lead was thinking. Shi Shang quickened his pace and quickly left Mu Xiao behind. She rushed into the dormitory and saw Lin Qianlong standing at the door. Shi Shang's mouth twitched. "You forgot your key again?" Lin Qianlong shook her head and pointed at the door. She mouthed, "Teacher, someone's in your dormitory." "Someone's in there? Those brats still haven't given up?" Lin Qianlong nodded. She waved at her with a strange expression. "Teacher, I can't help you. Take care." Shi Shang was speechless. What the hell? Shi Shang opened the door with the key. The living room and kitchen were clean. There was nothing there and no signs of activity. Shi Shang went up to the second floor. Her room was in good condition too. The door of the room next to hers had been opened. A light gray suitcase was placed at the door. Shi Shang was speechless. Shi Shang walked towards the room. There was no one in the room, but the things inside were different. There were no blankets in the room before. Now, there were some simple decorations. Judging from the style, it was probably a boy. Did the school put a boy in her dormitory without her knowledge? F***CK. Teacher, do you have a hobby of prying into other people's privacy? Shi Shang turned around abruptly. A very good-looking boy was standing behind her. He was so good-looking that it was hard to tell if he was a man or a woman. He was so good-looking that one would want to frame him for a traveling exhibition. He was wearing casual clothes. His hair was still dripping with water. He had a towel on his wrist. It was obvious that he had just taken a shower. Damn it! Didn't Lin Qianlong say that Ling Su was the flower of Yinglong? Then what was this? A flower of Yinglong? The boy walked towards Shi Shang and entered the room. He reached out to close the door. His actions were swift and smooth. Shi Shang was speechless. Wait a minute. Who the hell are you? Shi Shang was about to knock on the door when it suddenly opened. That good-looking face appeared in front of Shi Shang again. Yen LV, a third-year finance student. I'll be staying here for a while. Yen LV slammed the door after he finished speaking. Shi Shang was speechless. Where's eyes soared? Open the door. Shi Shang knocked on the door loudly. However, there was no response from inside. Shi Shang kicked the door angrily. The door opened, but there was no one in the room. It was as if the person she had seen earlier was just an illusion. The things in the room told her that it wasn't an illusion. A boy had moved in without her permission. Shi Shang took out his phone and called the school. The school's attitude was very official. They told her that it was a two-person dormitory. Shi Shang then asked, "But what's the meaning of letting a boy in?" She wanted to move to another dormitory. After a while, the school told her that there was only one empty room in Mu Rong Xiaoxiao's room. Living with the female lead meant endless trouble. Shi Shang was so angry that he smashed his phone. How could he be considered a noble? Kneel down. I'll move out. Hidden mission, unique feelings. Mission objective. Yen LV. Mission objective, literally. Shi Shang was speechless. Wait a minute. Hidden mission? Are you sure it's not a side mission? That boy. She didn't feel any sense of familiarity at all. That's right, host. The system replied quickly. Why don't I feel anything? She could sense it when Feng Ci appeared, but this person. Maybe he's hiding his aura. Pfft. Hiding his aura? Could you be any more ridiculous? Shi Shang gritted his teeth in anger. Did you do something? The system didn't say anything and chose to go offline. It was afraid that it wouldn't be able to resist showing off in front of the host. Then, the host would kill it before it was done. So, it had to endure it. Shi Shang suddenly had a bad feeling. He felt that hidden missions wouldn't be reliable anymore. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.